I started on this point of Porsche Club, yeah, and so on. So on stage, it was, I remember, Jam was on our far left, from what I remember. Yeah, it should sound weird, you know. There was then I know then probably Dennis was just there in next scene, yeah. And then so that's where it gets vague for me. The two other guys. So the two other guys technically was that you, Casey, as well on stage? So it was Casey and the ragga man was right on the far side. What you say? Was that was that sassy?
Affinity Extra, be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Extra.
Yes, people. This is your boy here, Roger Moore here from Affinity Extra. We celebrate gospel music of Black origin, and I have been in a journey. I'm excited about this one because you know what, people. I've been trying to look into the history of urban gospel. I want to jot the notes down before it's too late, and I've touched base with a number of people, but this interview I've been working on for about 5 years. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 5 years. People can ask you, why 5 years? Why this? I said, I'm looking at what you see of me today. Seeds had to be sown. I had to be inspired. And people see a lot of things that I do internationally. And it took for people who lived miles away from me to inspire me to do things internationally. So I don't take it for very lightly how people inspired a young guy who grew up in church music. Myself, guys, I am a church music guy. Andre Crouch, Winans, Commission, all the church music out there. And then I end up being known as a guy involved with hip hop. How do you get there? I'll tell you how you get there. You get there because I had a desire at 18 to go out to different venues, and we bumped into CLC, me and my brother. We checked out what was going on, and there was a event at, we didn't even know what the Porsche Club was. Yeah, we just didn't go out like that. So I don't think it was meant for us, but we decided to go to this event at the Porsche Club. We don't even read who presented it or whatever. We didn't even know who was on the bill. We thought, yeah, let's go. So we went to this event to the Porsche Club, and I was like, whoa, like tunes were being played. And then I remember standing down, looking up on the stage, and I saw 4 brothers rapping. Well, they might have done it. No, there was 2. I think 2 of them rap. One, I just remember one distinct guy. That was more like Dennis. But was just doing the rapping. I'm sure he was on the left hand side or one of the 2 on the left from me, and then I knew that somebody from Brum can get involved with an art form which is only known by US acts to do. And I thought, yo, like, this is crazy. I can remember the tunes were being played. I believe it was DJ Alec on the night. I remember him playing Black Butterfly, how he fused between next tunes on the night. I was like, hold on a second. This particular event inspired me. People could say greatness. I don't like talking all that talk. But listen, to do the things that I've done and doing today. And my love for urban gospel music, whether we use that phrase or not. Now, individually, yeah, and this, so, and then I remember on the day, the group was called the rap group. I emphasize rap group was called SHEKINAH. I think that somebody tried a bit of a Yardman thing. I don't know. I can't remember the track so much, but I remember the rapping part, and that's what I remember the most. And but individually, I'm gonna start from this side. I went to I was going to these certain events, and this guy had a distinctive voice, and he was always this guy preaching, which you'll say, and he's got the same voice today. People can say that's iconic, but it's this iconic voice, yeah. But it was like it was a I don't want to say crusty voice. It was a. It was,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Raspy.
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 Raspy. That's the fish. It's a raspy voice. That's a, and it was like always cutting, but it was passionate about the gospel. But it was obviously not brought up in the gospel. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't brought up in the pretty world of the gospel. It just there's a ruggedness to it and a knowledge of it, but a passion towards it. I went to the Swan and I saw in talk about prayer, or talking about impacting the community, and it's right. And the worst thing is, his name was Assassin, and you're thinking, whoa, you're going, what type of violence is this? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And obviously in church, you just have nice, like, God's grace, God's this, God's that. And Assassin comes in same way and talking his talk, Rev Assassin. You know what I'm saying? And then not much later on, I've seen involved in the community, bringing the hope and doing so much amazing work to this very day. You know what I'm saying? And let me go a bit more this side as well. Brother Dennis. Now, I didn't know much about this guy. This guy was rapping on the stage, so definitely he was rapping. 100% he was a rapper on the stage. But what was real cool, he knew my missus. You know what I'm saying, through the college days. So I knew my missus really, really, really well. And then as I evolved in the rap world, there's a lot of things like henchmen he was involved with, a different sort of project, but every time I see a little ding from him, there's an authentic, can't get away from the authentic rap. Never follow fashion, never follow this. A producer, rapper here in Brumtown. And I still think, I know he's happy for the corner, but I think he should be the globe. 100%. I know he licks the globe, but I'm not, listen, man, it should be way, way, way bigger. Some of the beats I hear hitting. You know what I'm saying? And that's from Denz. I don't know what else is it, MC, what a producer, what the producer names he uses and stuff. And the impact is ultimately inspiring a generation to do it. So I seen Dennis rap before anybody else in Birmingham. Now KC, I see more of this guy. If anybody's seen my wedding pictures, I won't put it up right now still. Yeah. The man, you know what I'm saying? The man was doing click suits before click suit expert, you know what I'm saying? So he's laughing hard, if you know what a click suit is, you know what I mean? I think around Carnival for about 2-3 years, he was the man. Yeah, say Taylor, 100%. But 100 as well. When coming into the community where a lot of teenagers was, Casey was very prominent and was what I got to gather was putting his neck on the line, putting on these events, and putting on events where the church is saying no. You know what I'm saying? It's hard now, let alone it was there. You know what I'm saying? So then I had good to that. So I appreciate the inspiration from actually putting on his, you know what I mean, saying, come, let's do it. And I know you've done it with a number of guys to do it. Now, guys, I can carry on, but I want to get to it. Now, the man they called DJ Jammer, listen, this guy, I remember seeing him in Foot Locker the first time I saw him. Now, I know he's on the stage, and his circle of friends, Leo, Cooper, we all know of each other. And Jamo was the one I didn't really talk to as much, but I know he was on the stage that first night. But Jamo is for me, he's authentic rap, gospel rap DJ, and trust me, he got the gigs. Yeah, he got all the festivals, and he was out there representing authentically rap. You know what I'm saying? Music. He always moans about my song selection still. You know what I'm saying? He always has a little bit of laugh on and whatsoever. But ultimately, we won't mention about the whole Arsenal situation. But 100% as a DJ has been on. I can talk to Jamo about the stages that he's been, the artists that he's backed and his support. There's like some Sammy G's and different like that. They're taking them to arenas outside of our circles, yeah, and in the Christian circles, and bringing this sound out there to the UK audience in the Christian world. Jamal's been architecting that. Me, I that was never my space, but Jamal literally was in there all day long. So this is where I've seen these guys in the space, that's impacted me. All these different areas has impacted what I do with Affinity Extra, and what it and Gospel for You, and all these things you see me doing. But what I will say, from what I said at the beginning, I did say it right. Listen, Shekinah was for me. It wasn't for me, from my perspective. I saw them on stage as a rap group. They never had big boxes at the time. There was a rap group that went up there, rapped. I don't know how they got the beat on there. They will explain how they did the beats things, because beats was not that easy. There was a rap group, and then it moved into this fitness first, and a colleague of myself on the station, Rico. Then I bumped into him a bit more later on, and it was going, and it went a sound more of a reggae way. Now this is what I saw, and it's evolved. But one thing I learned from little conversations I've had with the people in this room, yeah, is Shekinah goes back to the early 90s. And that's very, very interesting for myself as a gospel music historian, but also to understand the legacy and the depth of legacy in urban gospel in the Midlands, not only in the world, but also just what it's done for young people out here, and how sound culture and how rap mixed together to formulate and set the foundation for a dynasty which changed the world when it came to definitely reggae music 100%, and influenced the rap world as well. So I may get excommunicated for that introduction, but I don't business, and all these guys have got a accent like myself, a Brumtown accent, and I'm proud to present, I'm gonna get in trouble with this one, the founding fathers of Shekinah Ministries. That's a bit scary, and that's nothing, guys. Listen, we're gonna set the scene for this, and Shekinah to this very day, Miller, Spanner are smashing it. You know what I'm saying? Doing what they're doing in their leg of the ministry. Rico, game changer when it came to dancehall, linking up with Papa Sands, the Stitches. And listen, you see me chop it up here with Rico and what they've done, and me, Rico, to and fro with that whole era. Well, before that era, what inspired me, and I learned so much. Shekinah is my cheat code when it came to urban music. I never grew up in urban music, so it was my cheat code to understand that without being in the world. So whether it's through Shekinah the sound system, and Shekinah the rappers and the promoters, I learned it. So on that note, I'll be cancelled by everybody out there. But anyway, either way, I want to go straight to the beginning, guys. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna pick. Reason why I'm gonna pick on Dennis here. Yeah. Because it took me 15 years to get to this point. But anyway, because I did see him perform rap on stage back in about 92, 93. And he hinted that to me about getting awards, and I know that confirms a conversation that I had with Jammer about some awards situation was going on with as a rap group. So Dennis, just hit me where it started before we even get there, guys. Yeah, I want to know when it comes to music, how you get this love for music. As I said, everybody knows Andre Crouch, Winans for me. Now, Dennis, I'm gonna start with yourself. You can get into that, and then everybody, you guys gonna be telling me, how did you get into music, man? Go for it, man.
Well, thank you, first of all, and you are right. It's taken us a number of years to get here. I'm not necessarily one to kind of look at the past or even for the limelight in that sense there. So you're right, it has taken, and salute you for your tenacity, because it's taken years. But in terms of love for music, and for me individually, I'm the youngest of four, typical Windrush generation. I've got to give a super shout out to my oldest brother, who was Warren Easy, who was a musician back in a musician funk soul group in the Birmingham region, and they were shopping their demos, and I believe they got at some stage to Polydor label back in the days. So I was a little youth, just under his wings, and a lot of the time at Borsa Leaf rehearsing, etc. There's a huge gap between ourselves in terms of, when I say huge, there's a 15-year gap, etc. So I've always been around that. Then you have the natural thing what happened, because when our generation Windrush came over, they were naturally bring them suitcase. And with them suitcase, they have 2 records that they bring over. So we dabbed into Daddy's collection. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the reggae Jamaican vibe has always been there. So funk and reggae. And then naturally I kind of growing up, then in the early 80s, I'm revealing my age, but in the early 80s, something weird happened, whereby the genre of hip hop started to be birthed. And I was one of those guys who used to love hip hop. I'm the youngest of 4. My brother used to bring in the tapes and the records, and I was just in awe. I got into the body popping. I was there, and I was inspired by one of my heroes to this day, DJ Alec, because DJ Alec, he's a legend back in days. He was part of a group called Ground Patrol, and these guys were like our heroes. And so when in the stages before I got born again, which was just around the time when I was just left school, 17, 18. And one of the things when my brother got born again and he was telling me about church, I wasn't interested. I was in my music thing. So I was doing demos when I was year 11. So that's, you're talking 89, 90. I was doing a lot of demos with other rap group, weren't interested in church. My brother got born again, trying to get me in, not interested. And then one of the icing on the cake when my brother told me that, hey, guess who's a Christian? I was like, and DJ Alec. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, that really kind of joking in, So I have to give a super shout to Alec, one of my mentors who I love to this day, my brother. So yeah, that's how I kind of got in there. Hip hop has always been my thing. That's been my language. And that's how I kind of got into music. We can talk about from there. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. I will then go to, let me go to Robin, yeah, because if we hip side, yes, you know what, I'm gonna pick on Robin because I'm gonna pick on Robin because he talks about Robin talks about stuff where I'm like, what the heck, you know what I'm saying? He always I'm like, what the, for somebody who grew up in Great Bar, it's like, what the heck is you know what you're saying? But listen, you can tell the world, man, where it all started for yourself. I love our music.
For me, greets, yeah? Greets. Give thanks to God as well. First generation Windrush, okay? Music always in my blood. And una hip hop music, so una hip hop man, remember? Hey, Lord have mercy. But for me, we born just around the corner on Efield Road.
Yeah.
And I think many people know, so there was a hospital there. And in fact, I was probably one of the last to be born there. And then it closed, and it is what it is now. I think it's a school at the moment, or primary care center. So just grew up and you go through life, you know what I mean? And you're looking at things, and we see the birth of Rasta, church. Yeah, I used to go Sunday school for a little while because that's the norm. First generation. Put on the clothes and but I suppose our parents at the time didn't really understand what was going down. Stop and search, all them kind of things. And the music for me was the foundation to calm and to go to war when you have to go to war. So that was the backdrop. I'm not going to say too much about Akatri because Akatri was Akatri. Who know the ghetto, know the ghetto. You know, back in them days, it was what it is. Frontline, Night Spot, Tree, you know what I mean, St. Peter's Road, all of the scene that everybody had. You know, I grew up in a particular way, and music was part of the remedy, but also part of the lifestyle and the culture. And you grew up on your sittings. So church for me, and the whole church, well, as soon as you hit certain age, 9, 10, for me gone. And it's just mommy I pray, them have them pray me, but me gone. But my experience through the school system wasn't good, because we get kicked out from primary school. So I told to a lot of people, say, yeah, I say, yo, by the time he reach second school age, them had a big dossier. And no school in Birmingham wanted me. So I say, all right, that just introduced me to the University of Life. So you go through. But the thread is music, whether ska, one drop, culture, you know, all of the roots. But then I think a changing point probably for me and my generation was when Roots, the film, came out. And that brought a kind of a revolutionary aspect. And then Bob was around, bless him. And so that was all around it, and the strong influence then of Jamaican dancehall music. You know what I mean? And everybody engaged with it in different ways for me. You know what I mean? So where I was, it became part of your lifestyle and your way of living. But then we buck up Christ. And when we buck up Christ, you know, things change. So I ain't matter about this man with a crusty voice. You know.
We did.
Yo, let me start today.
Raspy, man, raspy.
Rusty. But the realness is that you have to be authentic. So when I had I call it my Damascus Road. So part of all, you've been hunting Dennis for 15 years, and the rest of us for 25 years and 30 years. You get what I'm saying? Because there's a time and a season for everything. But everybody have a beginning. So my beginning was round the corner from here. God licked me down, what me call my Damascus Road. And life changed dramatically. So when you talk about, oh, a guy called assassin, whatever everybody call themselves, your name represent who you is. So when, before me going to Christ, me straight. So if I'm going to come and God lift me down, I remember the day, he says, God, may I look for this God thing and you come find me. So I said, all right then, I'm coming straight. Because that's all I know. Love or hate me, that's a for your business. Because I want to come now with this love that I'm feeling. And
Robin was always direct.
Yeah.
sorry.
Listen, it's true. There's all of us confirming.
Yeah. That's why to him, it's direct.
No, so
Yeah, man.
and then really from the music always been there, whether we are run with blues and I run with business and I do what we are do. Music's there. I remember we used to listen to all some of the older man them, you know, the first generation street man. And we listen to jazz.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of a beer rush, you know, and a pure jazz I play, you know. A man a reason. And so music from the culture of what we know, it's deep. But then when we get hit by God, and after all of that, and I'm just chilling, put all of that aside. But what we used to see, because I used to go into church and everything and whatever, and then used to throw me out and say, oh, no, rough head boy, them I go, you can't come in here, da. So we never really belong anywhere. But there's a generation, they are now the grandparents. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, but when you look at gospel music, even from, I look at, sometimes I find some of the old tune them what parents are listening to. And when you're listening to what they're listening to, yeah, you can get where they're coming from because they had to go through stuff. They were more tolerant. Whereas we say, yo, me not working on no factory. Me not take talk from nobody. And we are going to stand strong. So, I won't get into it now, but everybody's got a path. And in life, you cross paths. And for me, I'm just leading that up to you. Ask me, what was music for me? Music was everything, whether it's you get up in the morning, you run where you run, where you do where you do. Music is there. We see the bird, dancehall, sound system, them, you know what I mean? Some of the back in the day, big man sound them and everything else. So that's what I came from. And then probably later on we'll get into when we the crowd, the hip hop and how we got together. But that's my context.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Now, I'm gonna go to Jama last by reason because we started with hip hop. We're gonna end with hip hop. I'm assuming, but I'm gonna flip over to Casey. It's quite interesting for me for Casey because, like I said, I don't really know him as a music man. I more know time as he's just a guy that's you know what I mean, just do things. But I'm like, where do you fit? So Casey, just give us your background when it comes to all this and how you fit in. He could say he's gonna tell me he's a singer and this and that. You know, you're saying you start from the order to
No, for me, very similar to Dennis. Really, I remember when I was 8, and I think between the ages of 1 and probably 13, I got 2 presents. Right. When I was 8, I got a calculator, and I was upset. You can see it in my face now. I'm still upset to this. Anybody who knows the story will be laughing right about now. I talk about it all the time, even tell my mother about it, right? I got this calculator. Bear in mind, it wasn't even my birthday because my mum couldn't afford to have birthday parties for all of us. So she had it one birthday party. And my brother, my older brother, got this, what we deemed as ghetto blaster. And when I say this thing was kicking out some decibels, it was incredible. Yeah, the beeline, everything. And at the time, before that, was me and Dennis talked about this not that long ago. African Bambara was very, very big. Electro 1 came in, but it came from a brother. Now, we used to play it on the reel tapes because we didn't have any tapes. Like the ghetto blaster that I saw with my brother, where TDK was first put in, and you heard that sound and a brand. Shh. I'll come to Jama in a minute because Jama had the techniques. But when you dropped, we was playing on reels. And then my parents had their is it the gramophone? The brown something where you slide one time and yeah. And and as I get older, I was collecting vinyls, right? And playing, and whenever my mum caught me playing something other than her records, I'd get a beating, right? So my love for music kind of developed from the influence of my brother. And he was very much out there in the community. And then as time developed, I remember when I was 13, I used to listen to Special Ed, Kwame, so many different artists at the beginning. And then I remember when I was 13 and I was sketching, and I was always good at sketching. And I heard DJ Easy Rock, It Takes Two. No, what's it?
Yeah, Rub Bass.
Rub Bass. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And that song blew. Can you all remember how that song blew? You remember it, Jamo? And I was like, what is this? And it was the way that certain things were sampled and played back, and the beat and the culture that came from that.
is what I got very much involved in. And so then you had certain ways of dressing. You know, some people remember the Kalkani jeans. And then what were the jeans that blew up especially in Birmingham, the ones that had the patches? Remember, Joe?
No, Joe Bloggs.
Joe Bloggs. Yes, Joe Bloggs. Joe Bloggs. And yes, and hip hop came with a culture, and that culture was very heavily invested in a certain brand, the way we look. You know, we had really, really baggy. It's crazy that we've gone back to, they call it oversized, but we used to wear those back in the day, didn't we? We had the baggy jeans. And so, you know, that was a big part of it. But when I was growing up, I grew up around a lot of domestics between my dad and my mom, and they argued a lot. And my go-to was music. And so out of all the music I used to listen to, it's funny because I used to network with friends that used to take me to blues parties. And I was the little one going to blues parties. And I had this love for revival tunes. You can't beat revival, you know. And rare groove. Oh, you can't beat rare groove and revival, right? But the influence from rare groove in hip hop is huge. It's huge. And so that's what caught my ear, especially when the samples started happening. And it was my go-to, especially when there was a lot of DV happening. You know, my parents were strict, first generation, Gibson Road. I'll put it out there. Get a beating if you're not getting up to go to church. So I'm not going to church because I associate church with a beating. I associate it with force. So music was a very, very big thing in the community. It's what brought us together. Essentially, when I originally came to Christ, what was interesting was, well, before that, me and Jamo used to spend a lot of our time in his bedroom with his technique set up. I mean, this man had the set, right, that everybody wanted. And I remember he used to have all these TDK tapes organized to the T, right? And he had all the albums, and we used to sit there, listen, and lines would drop, the lyricism, and we used to jump up all over and laugh. And that was our culture for a very long time. Yes. And smoke weed, and laugh and joke. And then when I came to Christ, what was interesting is I remember seeing this brother. And I looked at the brother and I said, there's something about this brother, I don't know what it was. But the love for music is the similarities of our love for music, because we called it underground hip hop at the time. You know, the commercial stuff was not the stuff we listened to. And so that stuff is what connected me and Dennis. Jamo was already into it. So when he came in and I introduced him, which he will go on to about, it was very, 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 that synergy, I think, really kind of brought us together. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is how we got together. I can't remember how we actually got together, but I do remember talking about, putting a group together, and it was a lot of anxiety for all of us, but I think Dennis was quite a big driving force of that, and quite encouraging for that. And I do remember, us having a house group, and that's where I met Robin. And Robin was always direct, and as you say, raspy and scary. Raspy. But what Robin was that dependable brother in Christ that you always knew, even though how raw he was, you knew that if he was going to back you,
you didn't have to worry about anything. Do you know what I mean? And he's still kind of that person now. He's like, you know, when Robin Spence is around you, you know you got that protection.
And there's also the synergy that on top of that is that we all had that not only love for music, but we all was with the outside looking in. We were born again. We didn't grow up in that church, so there was a synergy and pattern there. I met Jams through Casey on a 7th floor in Central Library. Yes, man. So and that was through this man here, in that way there, and that's how we kind of connected in that way there. So yes, man.
Central Library, you know. People, Central Library, bro. Yeah, listen, bro. That infamous Central. Yeah, you say, so parents said, yeah, man, just go to the Central Library. Yeah, that's good, man. Get some education. Yeah. But anyway, get educated. But listen up, Jamo, listen, man, we don't want to assume how you got into things, man. So explain to us your background in this music and how you got into music and, you know.
I mean, yeah, man, my journey is pretty similar to Dennis and Casey's, really. You know, I grew up on the streets, so I hit the streets really early. Like Robin reeled off some names: Aki Tree, Frontline. I'll just reel off one more: Acapulco. I was right in the ends, brother. So I grew up in Handsworth, and I used to wag school and go there and play video games. And you know, we're talking young. Well, you know, yeah. Anyhow, we won't go there. But so you know, I hit the streets really early. Non-Christian background, parents weren't saved, so no church background, none at all. But growing up in Handsworth, you have elders, you know, there's always a community of elders, and there was a community of elders that introduced me to hip hop, and I'm talking probably at the age of about 8 or 9. And the first record they gave me was the Sugar Hill record, Sugar Hill Gang, on a 12-inch full version, 14 minutes long. And that was my introduction to hip hop. Then you get into your electros, your electro 1, your electro 2. So for me, it was, again, the whole culture come to England, breaking, popping, being part of a crew of breakers and poppers. And that was it. I just immersed myself into hip hop. You know, we went to places like Xanadu and Powerhouse back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Go to the all dayers, and really just embrace the whole breaking hip hop culture. You know, the way you dressed, just everything, just took it on. Everything, man. You know, so for me, you know, I embraced the whole culture, but I always had a desire to DJ from a very young age. From the age of about 9 and 10, I really, really wanted to DJ, but just could not afford turntables. Your Techniques turntables have not dropped in price. They were probably £400 back then, and they're still £400, £500 back now.
Looking at them
All the time, bro.
wanted, and he was trying to get hold of that, and it was so expensive. I mean, you look at the price now, right? That was the price back then.
Exactly. You know,
and people weren't getting paid back then what you're getting paid now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I always wanted to DJ, but just didn't have it. So 92, I get saved. Went prison, come out of prison, looking at some big jail sentence, and had to give my life to Christ. Give God thanks for people like Casey, who was around me at the time during that period, because me and Casey we were in the world together. So we would smoke weed, listen to music, do all manner of madness. All manner of madness. But during that time, me and Casey were brethren, went to jail, come out of jail. Casey got saved. So Casey's witnessing to me and talking to me about God. I'm like thinking to myself, well, I'm looking at 5 years, so let me try this God thing, because I ain't got nothing to lose. So Casey brings me to Trinity. And it's Robert Beckford who brings me to the back and does the sinner's prayer with me at Trinity. That's where I get introduced to Dennis, and I give my life to the Lord. you know, we can fast forward a little bit. God does his thing with me. He pulls me out of that court case. You know, I get, you know, I was on remand. I was on remand. My nan had to give her house up for bail and all manner of things. It was just a madness. I had to sign on at the police station twice a week. I don't even remember. You remember that, man? Do you know what I mean? I had to go 4-0 road twice a week. Yeah, it was. Do you know what I mean? But at that time, I put my faith in Christ, and you know, God does what He does. He turned it around. Court case gets annulled, you know, and I get off. So really, that's the start of my journey. I'm already a hip hop head. I come into God, I'm like, yo, this church thing. And you know, I was arguing with Casey before giving my life to God. So I'm like, I'm not into this church thing, I'm not into it. I remember saying to Casey, yo, I want my Mercedes, never mind church. I want my Mercs. Yeah, I remember that. I used to say to him now, I come to church when I get my Mercs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But give my life to the Christ. Coming to church, and as Robin says, you're coming as you are. I'm coming from road. So I'm coming raw. I'm coming as Jamo. I'd already had a bit of a a street reputation as it was. So I'm coming into church now. I'm like, okay, if I'm giving my life to Christ, it's 100. It's 100. Do you know what I mean? We're coming raw, and we're doing it as I am, as Robin would say, as I am. So the music thing, like Casey says, it knitted us. I was introduced to Dennis, and we just had this synergy with music, with hip hop, and our passion for hip hop. And we just thought, you know what? How can we use our passion for hip hop in God? You know, we're coming from Ultra Magnetics, A Tribe Called Quest, Nice and Smooth. Do you know what I mean? Public Enemy. You know, 2 Live Crew, K Solo. You know. Spellbound. We're coming. Oh my gosh, Ghetto Boys. Ghetto Boys.
All over with it.
Huh? Yeah, the rhyme did it. You know what I'm saying? We're coming from the real hip hop. Do you know what I mean? And we was just like, you know, let me, before I go any further, I got to give a shout out to EDD. Yeah. Because I used to watch that brother as a DJ on Crystal Force in Handsworth Park, and I just wanted to be that brother, you know what I mean? And he inspired me. So as a shout out to DJ EDD, Crystal Force, Playboy, you know, them mans, I just got to shout them out because they inspired me to be a DJ. But going back to coming into church and just like, yo, this is raw hip hop. It's Ultra Magnetic MCs. It's raw. So we're just like, yo, how can we utilize our passion for hip hop in God? And that's where we came up with, let's put a group together. Now, Dennis was already rapping. You know, Dennis was already on stage. Him and Steve, is it, brother? Steve and shout out to Steve and Rock One. Yeah, I mean, them man were at Trinity doing their thing. You know what I mean? We came in and was like, okay, then how can we start this thing? So at the time, it was just like, you know what? What beats have we got? Yo,
Right, guys, just pause it, because no, because the reason why I want to pause it, because we could talk stories, but we need to put them dates, yeah, and years. So from what I'm saying, I reckon you're talking about late 92, early 93, round about that period there.
We're talking, I think it's September 92, me, Dennis and Casey get together because we have a show to do. Where was the show, Dennis? It was Birchfield Road. What was the name of the
Trinity. Yeah. So the show back then, if I double back up a bit before then, shout out to Paul Gordon. I was, as he said, I was rapping, just gave my life. Shout out to DJ Ron, who was my inspirer regarding producers, and my brother, and because they was part of their sound, and has I got to Ray Grooves, etc. And we done a show where he forced me to go onto I didn't know back then, but was the NI regional local, the National Indoor Arena. That's the video that you had, and he put me on that. Yes, in Birmingham. In Birmingham. So I was just got born again. Wow. Gordon says, Dennis, I need you on this. I was like, well, I don't know what military is. I'm just from the streets. And he said, just do what you did the other day in front of me. So then when we came, there's an event that used to be happening at Trinity Fellowship, which is called Club TF. And Club TF was a celebrationary of urban music and giving God the glory and expressing God's glory through urban music. And then there was one that already went, but then when we came together, we was like, you know what, they saw us and they said they wanted us to do the next one, which was supporting, because it got big by that time. And I think we were supported at the time, was it a Scoffreys? Yeah, Scoffreys. So bear in mind, revolutionary, we were just guys who loved hip hop. There's a beautiful part in the Bible that says, in Acts, when it says, "And the day of Pentecost, the Holy Spirit came around and ascended," and it finishes by saying, "And each man in their own tongue began to express their love for God." Hip hop was our language. So a group of guys just wanted to express our love for God through the language of hip hop, and we just dive right in it. And the objective was, we wanted to our peers, and our peers was still on the road, and we wanted something authentic that could attract them. Now we was getting battered because that was a genesis moment of the hip hop coming in the garden of the church, and the church was like, well, Club TF should shout out to Trinity because they allowed us to express ourselves. But some churches was like, whoa, so so salute in church green.
How did we get to the name?
So
Because that's something I can't remember.
So just want to, before we get to the name, sorry, I'm just going to make sure this is still 92. You're dealing with, yeah? So 92. So reason why I'm emphasizing this, guys, yeah? Because dates, and this is not a bragging right thing situation, guys, yeah? But for somebody, where was I in 92? 92, I was more time, I met Mrs. man about there. So I was at college, yeah? So I'm at college, isolated, as my friends. Now you guys are talking a role. Now guys, these guys are talking about rappers. I'm going, yeah. I'm gonna go into Jam. You know what I'm saying? I have to go and do research. You guys are talking about stuff before my time, and I wasn't around. Let me be straight with you. I'm not gonna fake the funk and go in front of people and go, oh yeah, I know who them are. I don't know who it is, Beastie Boys and all these guys, man. You know what I mean? That sounds like a Cartoon Network program or something to me anyway, still, But what I will say is that where I was from a different perspective. We were dying in church as young men because the church sound wasn't relating. So I was in the phase of seeing so many young men our age leaving church. So it's ironic you guys came in at a time where I saw so many leave. So my friends are leaving out to jungle raves, going to jungle, you know what I mean? Everything was about jungle and hip hop, obviously, and rap and everything. And the church was doing, I don't want to be too harsh on church, but the sound was musical. It was music. It was focal point was about, like gospel sound, choirs. And if you couldn't sing in a choir or you couldn't play an instrument, it was crazy. So I got into music really and truly through my cousin, who wasn't a Christian, who showed me Atari ST, and I started sampling. But end of the day, you guys came in at the great exodus. So giving a different perspective to where you guys are coming in from some crazy scenarios, and I'm in church going like, yo, this thing's dying out here. So it's ironic he was at one of the churches, Trinity, at the time, was where the young people went to. Left so many churches to go. So big up to Trinity at the time. And Robert Beckford, he was youth pastor at my church as well. At Wesleyan, back in the day. So I know him from when back in Wesleyan days. He was Nicky Tapper as well, was at the same church with me. And I seen these young people leave. You know what I'm saying? Claudette James, these young people left the church. But fortunately went to a different church, but some never did that. So you guys came in as I saw a lot of my peers left. A lot. 99.9% of them left. Yeah. And that's what was happening in the early 90s. So in 92, you guys came in while we were tired. You guys came with this vigor at a time where man just give up and just walking out, said not on this and gone. So let me just give a context from a different perspective of the time when you guys were coming in. It was an interesting period.
So let me tag something now. It's interesting hearing that, right? Because You remember when we come at Trinity?
Yeah.
But that's how we met. Myself and another brother, a brother called Brother Price. So we were known not in a musical sense, but in a ministry sense. And I bless him, Robert Beckford, because Robert, yes, we are going around at the church and shake it up a bit, because it's interesting what you've just said, the deadness. Because when we were coming to Christ, me and a few others, some passed now, them not here, right? The church was starting to rumble. Boy, these rough man them from the road are coming. Yeah. And at the time, there was a minister who used to live on Rookery Road from the Prophecy Church, Pastor Harris. And she here said these boys them are coming from the road, and because bless all of the ministers them, they love and peace, but you know it was back in the day. So them a preach and me say, yo, what you talk about, man? We're there right now, you know. You want the road, see we are? Come, where we are? I didn't know you couldn't interact, because when I read Bible and I try find Jesus, Jesus interacted with the people. Cut long story short, boom, we get licked down. God changed your life. But we went in, and I remember the reason I'm raising this, because it's to back up what you're saying. This is 91. November going into December 91. Going then into 90, just before New Year's, Pastor Harris asked us to go over to Ruby Prophecy Church over on Bristol Road. And it was me and my next brethren. And they wanted us to talk to the youths because they want the world. But yet, man, them on the road want to come out for the certain things, because I get peaky at that time. And that's the paradox here.
I think that's a good point you mentioned as well, because geographically at the time, that area became the birth and the genesis moment of a wider community issue regarding about people going into areas, and then the formulation of genesis in terms of like gang culture and that. All that was in that context, and God called us individually out in that space, and we just had a passion for just sharing Christ. We just want to share Christ.
And it's because that's how we met. So this is going to answer some of what you just raised now, because if you remember, I remember you guys were at Trinity. So when me and Brother Price land there, basically the Holy Spirit I can understand it now. The Holy Spirit come, word of knowledge, poof, poof, poof. And something exploded, and then we connected. Because it was not long after that we connected. And I ain't no hip hop man.
Exactly.
But what we have in common is we love music, and we love with people, and we're looking at those we're leaving behind and say, well, what's going to happen to them?
I remember us debating about whether we should have Robin in. Do you remember? Because that was a big debate, wasn't it? Because it wasn't because of Robin. It was just about, I guess, in at the time we was kind of looking at, is that going to compromise the hip hop element and things?
And I think one of the things we said that there's a lot of things what went on before we got to that. But one of the things the headquarters used to be Church Green, Jam's Yard, and we used to have a conversation readily. And one of the things me and Jam used to dialogue quite a lot was we also looked at the sphere of the music scene, and jungle was coming in. So we said, we recognized that God was doing something, because the shows we were doing, we had a Woodgate show, we had a lot of shows gone down.
I was going to say, I think it's important that we probably rewind a little bit to say, actually, we're talking Club TF was, I think it was November 92. Yeah, because I remember us rapping and you guys having to help me write my raps because I wasn't a rapper, I was a DJ, but we just loved music and we loved Jesus and we just wanted to share the gospel through what we was passionate about. So I think I got saved August 92. We got together, I think September 92, and Club Tiff was around August, November of 92. So that's our first show. I don't think we were named Shekinah then. No, we weren't. We weren't named Shekinah. It was after that show that we decided we need to formulate a name. And that was done, like Dennis says, at my house at Church Green, because that was kind of like the headquarters. This was before Rob's came in. So us three formulated Shekinah. Dennis came up with the name. I remember the day very clearly.
Yeah, and selfishly, because I was wanted to hold the name for my daughter, because I always knew we were going to have a girl when I've, but then I said, nah, we talked about it, so let's say Shekinah, God's glory, let's go through there. And that's how it was birthed, Church Green, Jams, us three, and we says, let's do it.
So also you can't just skim over that. So like how do three four I'm gonna sound like a church person now. Which I am. Three ruffians come up with such a Hebrew name at a time where Hebrew was barely, you know what I mean? How do you get there? Because I'm so because that's what we say, like Shekinah. What type of Bible school you went to? You know what
Well,
I mean?
I remember when me and Jam looked at each other and thought,
What's that?
what?
Yeah, what? Because
what's that?
Steve kind of, yeah. But and it's to say what Rob says, and you have to understand, we weren't born in the church. When we gave our life to the Lord, it was a case of, it clearly was a God thing, but we were studious. I'm looking back now, some of it was a bit too far, but sometimes I'll even miss college just to read the Bible all day and fast and pray. So that was no surprise when we started to discover words and, oh, is this what this means? That's mean, etc. So that's one of yes, diving in. We introduced at the time of exegesis, eisegesis, the Strong's Concordance. We was using our gyro money not to get weed, but to get Strong's Concordance, so we could study the word to show ourselves approved. Those were that's how radical we were. This is not no like, oh, should we do a group? That was our heart. That was the genesis.
And you know what? That has carried us to where we are as men today. Casey just mentioned Robin being a pillar and a discipline. That was the culture of us. We come from road. We understand road ethics. We understand road mentalities, and we shifted the mentalities of road, street into God. So we was very disciplined. We weren't just like, oh yeah, we're passionate about hip hop. It was no, we were in the word. We were fasting and praying, and man, we went hard. We went super hard, like olive oil, like we went in. Do you know what I mean? And here's the thing, that laid the foundation to what we did musically, and God actually showed his favor in the launch pad of Shekinah, because the fruits of Shekinah, when we started, it just took off. From 92, like our first gig, Escofferys, Look Who's Loving Me. Like, you talk about Escofferys now, that's a major group, legendary group. Yeah, and that was our first gig. Do you understand what I'm saying? Our first gig, and at the time we probably didn't realize what was going on. We didn't know, but we were just on fire.
Where was that gig?
That was at Trinity Road.
So Escofferys went to the church.
It was in the community center behind the church. So that was our first gig, but God was honoring what we were doing, and it was a spark as we continue to tell the story of what God was birthing through us nationally, because it went national. You understand what I'm saying? So we I think we didn't realize what was happening at the time, but we did.
We're that radical because of our backgrounds.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So you hear Robin, you hear Jamo, you hear Dens talk about, our backgrounds, very much affiliated with road, and the culture on the road, how hard it was to even just make a buck, what we went through to survive, the upbringings, the cultural violence, the trauma. And so what you've got is you've got the makings of radical minds that are trying to survive and then coming to the church. And then there's another layer of survival because you are trying to leave that culture behind, but then you're trying to break through elements of oppression in the church. And that oppression we saw as traditional, cultural, religious ways, as you said, that had become stagnant to a certain point. And what we wanted to do was elevate that, bring a level of creativity and influence that, because we knew that if we have to go out and share this thing that we call the gospel, our people ain't gonna come. We just about scraped it in. Do you know what I mean? We just about got in. I came in because a woman brought me in. Jamal came in because, you know, he's back, as he's explained it, his testimony. And we all had different things that kind of really kind of pushed us up against the wall, and that led to us coming in. So we needed some form of radicalness to really reach and communicate what we were living and breathing and experiencing with the people outside.
Yeah, and I think that radicalness translated across a number of levels. It translated across our passion for Jesus, but it also translated in our music and the standard we set ourselves musically. Do you know what I'm saying? The fact that we had a high standard in our music, how we produced our music, what we were going to say, how we was going to say, how we presented ourselves. It wasn't just a slapdash, we want to be on stage. It was never that, never that. Do you know what I mean? And I think I give God thanks for us as the four of us collectively, because we had a discipline that actually, you know what? When we started, there was a big draw. People looked at us and they saw the shininess of what God was doing, but what they didn't see was the discipline that we set and the standard we set. Like, are you in church? Number one, like, are you in church every Sunday? Are you serving in church? Those were two pillars that, if those two things were in operation in your life, then when it comes to music, when it comes to creativity, I suggest you lay that to one side and figure out, you know, some disciplines with your walk with the Lord. And that was paramount through everything we did. And I think it was those things that God saw and honored and said, actually, right, I'm going to use you guys and elevate you, because we, from 92, you know, I want to then, you know, Robin came in.
Yeah, we'll talk about
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
But we there was a quick acceleration because we're traveling the whole of England. We're doing big shows. We're on TV. We're winning awards.
Hold on a second. Oh, right, guys. Go ahead. I'm trying to picture this now. Yeah, bear in mind, guys, I've been in Birmingham since 1976. Yeah, so these guys are trying to come tell me, yeah, all these years in church. So I'm going to paint the picture still, yeah. That I'm going to Well and all these gospel shows, whatever they're still, yeah. And you mean to tell me the first time I saw this rap group was at the Porsche Club, but yet these guys were traveling the UK rapping since 92, and where I bumped into them was at the Porsche Club, which I believe was round about 94 going to 95, round about there. 94. So, and you already performed with artists that I could barely even be in the same room of today, as Scoffreys. You know what I'm saying? These Scoffreys anywhere in the UK, any gospel concert, that's a big show just to be supporting. So you guys are going around the country in 92, going into 93, 94 as a rap group. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's a correction now.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Go.
I understand, yeah, and it's right. That's why we laugh at it. After Trinity,
Yes.
we all joined church together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we're on, but it's not mainstream church now, because they didn't. No, because they didn't understand us.
It was Eurocentric.
You understand? So what? Yeah. So what people have done? When Jams is right behind the scene, you saw Porsche Club,
Yeah.
but behind Porsche Club, there was already traction happening. So when I met these guys at Trinity, and there was a connection, didn't happen straight away, but then as their desire to want to do more, we connected, and we were searching for a church because we had house group. House group
Yeah.
used to be on 91 Crompton Road,
There you go.
my flat,
Okay.
and then over in Erdington,
Mhm.
and then at my mum's house. So we're on this journey.
Sorry, you have to say, during those times we got into mums, and this is the passion. We were calling like 40-day fasts, fasting days. So this is the context we were in, and that's the level the foundation was going in. Carry on, bro.
40-day fast. Yeah, what?
Because before, if Jesus done it, and he's like, what are you supposed to do?
No, but here's the thing: we're doing this, but we're meeting every day.
Every day.
We're meeting to pray and fast and getting God's word as a home group and a collective of young people and sisters, big people, families. Shout out to everybody to the group. Do you know what I'm saying? We met every day. Probably the only days we wouldn't meet was Saturday, Sunday,
Wow.
and we'd meet every day. And this went on for months.
A good 6-7 months, because in that time, there's a few things that happened. One, we used to meet on the church on Lazarus. These guys used to go college, and it weren't all go home and chill. It's come. I'm calling it, yo, a prayer time.
Shout out to Casey. Casey used to say, Dennis, where are you? I'll be like, I just got in. We got a meeting. Yeah, Reverend Okin, man. It's man's in as well. We got it.
And I'm saying, yo, come on, man, come on. But there was a desire for God. We're hungry for God.
Which we weren't getting at the church. That's what it was.
And that's what I'm trying to say. The church,
he's talking about.
yeah, that deadness you're talking about, yeah, kick me out.
Wow.
Yeah, which is fine because it needed to happen. Else me would have been affected in that way. So we started to meet as a home group. Now, I'm coming off 24/7 365 road. So me don't know nothing about no work. So me I say, God, all right, what legitimate mean do the man I'ma go college, but when me I do? So me just fast and pray. So in that praying for these guys, they're talking to their friends at college, they're bringing them, and let's just say others started to come in.
So are you ultimately saying to me that this urban link becomes almost a modern cultural group of black people? You would say, yeah,
I would-
you're seeking God, but
I would call it this,
Go.
because I understand it, from a theological point of view. It was a mini revival
It was a
of
it was a
young
revival.
young men and women in our urban community who it's like, it says in the book of Acts, the tongues came and dropped. You touch a person, something's happening, there is a connection, there is a desire. However these guys were living their lives, people were starting to see it and say, I want that.
And shout out to D, because when I met at college, that's how we. There was sometimes when there was events at the college, and that's how we came. They heard, and can we do this? And at times we used to go to these family to do even straight from college to do life groups or teaching and all that stuff was there. So it was almost like each one teach one. We were starting. There was such a, and from shout out to the guys at Brewbury, from it, because that's when I met my dear wife, because that is almost catching a fire. Everyone was, let's meet up here, let's go here, so
it's interesting because up Lascelles with the church opposite where Bing used to be.
Yeah,
Rosales Road,
I know.
On the corner of
Yeah.
Holt.
Oh, yeah.
That old church there is where it was the headquarters until them asked me to move.
Firstborn.
Firstborn Church, thank you. Still there now. God bless Pastor Anderson and the rest of the team there. And that's where my mom used to go.
Okay.
So that connection, because you see, that's where I first met Witness.
Mm.
And I knew Witness through others, in-laws and circles, but that's where the encounter of God and Witness happened there. Yeah, and because different people were coming through and different manifestations were happening and people were being freed up. These were young
Mate, yeah.
men
And for the ones who don't know, Witness is a well-known artist and probably one of the first, if not the first, kind of like would you say dancehall artist in Birmingham?
I don't know.
Reggae, but what would you say?
What's that?
Would you say Witness was probably dancehall? Was
Well,
dance
first-
artist? Yeah.
Probably not. I would say Robin was the first.
Robbie.
Robin.
So once again,
Sorry,
What-
Assassin.
Assassin. Yeah,
Assassin.
So okay, we'll
So we're gonna get
we'll get there, because then is your voice I heard at Porsche Club.
Exactly.
Okay.
Shout out to the Push Club. One of the reasons I got there, shout out to Paul Green, Alex, and them because we came through via them.
Oh no, 100%.
Yes, by the
Shout out to
DJ Alec
and
Simon.
Simon Berger. R.I.P.
Yes, God bless, man. Yeah, man. Yes, man. So, yeah, the four, and the singers, Paul, forgive me, Paul. And there was a
For
group.
real.
For real.
That's it.
For real.
For real, man.
For real.
So Lee, what you have to understand is them guys have just says, all right then, Church Green, because that's where I know it was birthed.
Mhm.
You understand? Because they come and say, yo, Sassy, Robin, we want to start a sound, man. So man, looking at listen, brothers, what you talking about? We need to fast and pray. What you talking about? So we went through in a short period of time, but a systematic why.
Because he was very dubious.
Okay.
You understand?
So you guys are rapping, and then now you guys are asking Robin
To come.
to come.
And the reason is we leave Trinity, we go to another church, and in that we've got all those leads to the Gospel Explosion event at the Woodgate Church. And Robin was moving in that space of leadership there.
Yeah.
And we were like, and if you listen to what Jam says, double click, shout out to E-Double, Crystal Force, them guys there. Alex was part of a group as well, sound group. All these were sounds around. So there's always been around. Shout out to the guys in Napalm X. That's Handsworth and Syndicate. My brother, shout out to Cooler Rock and them guys there. All them guys, grew up around Soundmen's. That's how I learned in that sense. So when all those leads, we knew that ultimately it's gonna have to go through the sound because that's
And I think that was the dilemma. Casey talked about the fact that we didn't know how Robin was going to fit into a hip hop group, but at the time you're talking about BDP, who's doing hip hop reggae.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hip hop artists that were doing the hip hop reggae
And
crossover.
He's mixing with Jamaican
know what I
culture.
Yeah, so there was all of that.
Yeah.
So we thought, how are we going to make this happen? From a production standpoint, we thought we could make it happen because Jungle was coming through, BDP, KRS-One was doing it. But from an evangelistic standpoint, it was like, well, how does that look? Hence the sound element. We were thinking, wow, like Dennis says, there's Napalm X. If you know, they were a big hip hop sound in Handsworth. Handsworth Groove Syndicate, they were a big hip hop sound in Handsworth. You had EDD and what was their name? IMD. You know, these were big sounds that were playing Cash Rex. These were big sounds that were in Handsworth, playing in Handsworth Carnival, doing their thing. So we just thought to ourselves, actually, this is the direction we think we can go in. We can build.
Yeah.
And this was also part of our heart to bring in other people, because that's what sound culture is. You have sound men or MCs, chatters who would come and represent on our sound. So in our minds, we was thinking we can disciple other people to come and give them a platform on a sound to then go and release them as artists. So that was always the vision.
And if I could double click on that point, also we have to need as well in hip hop, the mixtape culture wasn't in back then. So it was easy, accessible. We knew the familiarity of sound system, that 6-man pan on rhythm. So it was easy, accessible in that, in opposed to the hip hop in that scene there. So that's one of the reasons why. And our heart was about mission. When we were in the bedroom talking, fasting, praying, there was a mandate on our heart that we got to reach a loss. It wasn't about respectfully trying to hit the church. We was like, how can we reach the lost in that way? And that's one of the reasons why let's go through this vehicle. And that's one of the...
So you guys are this is about 93 now. You got 93, 94-ish. No, 93-ish. Then you look aside and said, right, we need to drop some Aki and Soulfish on our thing still, yeah? Give a bit more vibes. And you look over to a guy, assassin like that. Or was it more you saying to them, listen, man, I got some lyrics, man. I got some lyrics for you.
It was natural because we were already, if you like, we're in church together. Yeah. But there's, yeah, because this is why Jamal just says what he says. There's two things. Near pan, you know, you wanna just draw me back, you know. Because there used to be, this is in the world now, joint dance with near pan clash with other souls.
There you go.
For the youth them, as we would say, yo, the youth them are going with different things. Big up to Sharky if you're still around.
Yeah.
My brethren Sharky, because he brought me to the first kind of, this is urban, you know. So I'm in Akatri doing what I'm doing. Come look, big man. Unks, come look. And this is where the clashes use, or the fusion used to come, because it's the voice and the vehicle of your generation.
R.I.P. to shout out to Drastic.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, man.
come on, you know what I mean? These are big DJs, White Scratchy. These are big DJs in and around the culture, in Handsworth. Exactly. Do you understand what I'm saying? These are big guys who were running hip hop sounds and putting on hip hop dances via the sound system. So in our heads, we're thinking, this is the way we're gonna go.
Okay.
This is it.
It's what we know.
This is what we know. It's happening. We've been on it. I remember going to Winston Green. I remember jumping on the mic with Napalm X, Nozza and Drastic. They're giving me the mic. I'm not even saved. Me and you went to that dance. And I jumped on the stage. I'm emceeing. I don't know nothing about anything, but the passion just got me that day. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was in us. And we just thought, you know what? Robin's come along, the reggae elements come, jungle's coming, right? This is the way we're gonna go. We're gonna go with the sound element. As a DJ, I'm like, yes, but I'm also like, sugar, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because at the time, as a hip-hop gospel DJ, there's no music. There's nothing that I can play to the EDDs of this world, to the sound mans that are doing their thing out there that I think I can represent properly to say actually this is representing of the gospel. I wouldn't. There was nothing there.
That was before Corey Red.
Yeah.
Way before Corey Red.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Definitely.
No. Big up to the Corey, because a lot of people's genesis is Corey Red. They say, yeah, man, Corey Red.
This is
before
dynamic twins. This is
Mike Peace.
Mike Peace.
Yeah.
This is that generation.
How did you get Mike Peace's record over here?
How did I?
Yeah.
I got it on tape.
Who did you get it from?
I can't even remember, bro. I can't even remember.
Because guys, I want to know. Yeah, I was letting you guys know as well. When it came to gospel music, it was not hard enough. It was down to word and a big distributors. So you're going to CLC, and it's whoever the system says is correct to put out there, so you wouldn't get access to any Corys, or not until very much later, and even that was controlled in itself. So the only way I could get my hands on music that outside was go to Tempest or something. Yeah, you'll get odd ones.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, because we are versed and we know about music.
Yeah.
Shout out to people like DJ Alec. DJ Alec is he's almost like a Inspector Clouseau. He's probably got the one track that no one else has got. And we are students of these guys. So we already knew how to get certain particular rhythms. And even that's one of the reasons why, just to double click on what Jav's mentioned, the fact that we didn't have the pull-in factor, that was the genesis moment of the mixes, what you heard, when we started to mix the secular instrumental with acapellas, to use that as baits to draw the guys in, familiar songs that they knew. And that's Alex and DJ Fix. Shout out to DJ Fix as well. But
There's one guy from the hip hop side who really salute every time, who just is underrated, and that's Hip Hop Dave.
come on.
If you know who Hip Hop Dave, this brother, David Macaulay, this guy had Jafia Life vinyls when nobody had it. Gospel vinyl, this brother had it. He had I don't know where he got his music from, but he was the key. He was the one that introduced me and got me on my path and journey into collecting gospel hip hop. So shout out Dave Crawley, Hip Hop Dave, we call him.
He's the one that shot our album cover.
Yeah,
Is in media now. Shout out to him. He's the one that introduced me to Corey Renner Precise as well. Them man says so. Thanks to them as well.
Big up it.
So,
Shout out. Oh, wait.
so the journeys now, we're coming up to Porsche, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
all what
no.
you
I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it, man.
You feel it?
No, I'm feeling it, man.
So all of that's
Yeah.
going on, and then I get a call to come to the headquarters, Church Green,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mommy house, and we're there in jam during these man. So, man, so we are talking about soul. Soul? You mean real soul? Now I've got my son, Xtra, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to Pedro.
So Petra,
Come on, brother.
but we use that for the business,
Yeah.
which is the Aka Tree Blues. Yeah?
Hmm.
So, me say, oh, okay. And it was around that time that my son was born.
Yes. That's 93?
94-ish.
94-ish. Yeah.
By the way, son, sorry, son, you then had to work that one out.
No, because different things were happening
Okay.
before that, you see. So, me know my boy, them no worry. Man, me not chop you know. But the thing I'm getting to is, what them guys are getting to is the christening.
Yes. October 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, go on.
I just wanted to rewind to 95.
Yeah.
Because there's two incidences for me personally. I know you say the christening is, and it is a major thing, but I also think Adrian's wedding is also a key moment. Because you're talking Junior Rough, Romantic Bubbler, Hog, you know, and Fitz.
Adrian, that witness.
That's
Yeah.
Witness.
So, and that was the genesis when it was recorded,
Yeah, and we have that on tape.
and we have that on tape.
Do have
So that's what spread the wildfire, because it was on tapes. It started circulating around the country, and that's how Manchester man picked up.
So hold on. Right. So at Witness's wedding,
Witness's
she kind of the original sound system, effectively, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, was debuted. I won't say debut, but basically became a sound at Witness's wedding.
It became a vehicle to channel the music. The front door is Shekinah because it's already named.
Yeah, it's already named. Yeah, that's you
said.
No, that's it. That's it. So she kind of
The sound.
The Shekinah, the sound now on that day for me. I know, Robbie, you.
No, it
you
was-
feel
it
so-
was- it was
Yeah,
official.
that
It was
day, and
official.
I think we all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wedding
We heard something when we looked back.
felt it.
We felt like, whoa.
Because Adrian got married.
was huge.
Adrian got married after me. Yeah. I'm married to my niece-in-law.
Mm.
You understand? And it was there because you have to understand in them days, well, we know if you see no disc here, it's mini disc, it's cassette tapes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So obviously, the ministry on the mic, as man would call it, yeah. It wasn't just DJing, oh, I love the Lord. It's also when you hear real soul man them and them start to speak to the people them while the music playing and bringing them up to the point for whatever art is gonna, that is an art in itself. So, well, that is foundation for we because that's what we know. Me know as an individual.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, you can make out.
Yes, there are far more talented artists. Me I talk no DJ reggae artists at the time than me used to bring them through. But my gift was, we're all now and you're building up the thing now. You're painting the picture. Yes, we can DJ and all that. Because my wife said to me the other day, in fact, you remember that song? I said, which one? The world in our trouble, them I look for their answer. That was back in the day, innit? And it was revelationary because we were in trouble. Ain't we in trouble now?
Yeah, man.
So what was then interesting, as you says, Jam, and Jam is the credit recorder, you know, him log the things, you know.
You know, man, document.
Him a document the thing. Me don't know. So that's why you have to draw it back, because I forgot about Agents with it.
Well, I just want to shout you out, Robin, because I think your gift, you say, you know, there are many more talented people. And I would say historically, you are the first reggae gospel artist, I think,
That I heard.
in Brum. And I think probably we could probably go as far as UK. There may be one or two that were more church orientated, but from a raw sound.
Okay.
I think Robin's the number one, and that aligns with who we were as Shekinah. We draw Adrian's wedding because something happened that day where it was spontaneous. We had hired this, was it Pedro Sound?
Yeah.
Pedro Sound, because
Well, my song, when we just
Robin Sound.
Shout out to DJ Fix.
We're lifting boxes at the time because we used to have a running joke. Pay your tithes, we'd lift in the boxes. Remember that?
We used to cost them and say, oh, no, know about so. Lift up the box to them now.
You know, and we used to, and I think there was a, there were from Aston, but I think there was a pivotal moment for me, and that was when Mark Edwards, shout out to Junior Ruff from Romantic Bob, who got saved. He was part of what church? That
He was prophecy.
And that was again part of,
Me and Junior Ruff get saved together.
but that was also a part of what we saw the revival, because we saw mans like Lapsley getting saved. To be honest, I'm saying there was a bag of mans who were getting saved. I could call that the Julie Clinton. Remember all of that? You understand what I'm saying? All of them was getting saved. Simone, Diane. So there was a big movement, and shout out to them. But at Adrian's party, it was when Ruff came on that mic, and he drew the lyric, calling Tree the hard way, assassin, you're wanted at the control tower. I never forget it.
And that's on tape.
And we've got that on tape, and it was just like, there it is. That is the vision. It was just like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that just propelled the passion, propelled us into wanting to do what we wanted to do, what we were called to do at the time.
And I think that what was special about that was the first time we realized it could be captured, because it was on tape, and you could relive. And it was like, what is? And then it got circulated, and man was like, who's these? And then that's when the wildfire started happening.
And the beauty of that is that was culture, because remember sound tapes back in the day. I'm listening to, Cox, and I'm listening to, Sickle Cell. You know what I mean? I'm listening to all these sounds as unsaved, and there were just tapes that were passed around. So now we're seeing the same thing happen
But the
in
gospel,
gospel.
in the gospel.
People are hearing sound tapes
Yes.
and they're flying to London,
Then
and we can talk about
Manchester.
the testimony of that.
Yeah.
They're flying to London, they're flying
Manchester,
to Manchester, and they're hearing
Liverpool.
sound tapes, and they're thinking, "Oh my gosh,
Who are these?
what is this? What is this?" And that was
And this that
August
95.
94.
94.
Yeah.
94. August 94.
Yeah, man.
So okay, well, yeah,
just to-
yeah.
I know your Genesis moment is Porsche Club. This is before Porsche Club.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because the thing is, and the thing is, this is what I'm saying. This is why I've beefed out for this moment, because I obviously the only reason why I knew there was things going on behind before is because D would tell me about meeting up with Joseph with Dennis, so I knew that there was something going on. But I went in your circles. You know what I'm saying? I went to church in Handsworth, but it wasn't group in Handsworth.
Yeah.
So I had no reason, no business. My parents' life wasn't really for me to be involved. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's be 100. We're meant to be linking up with you, man. There, so you know what I'm saying? I would say unrolled. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't what my parents were. But the thing is, like I said, 94. Are you telling me that basically, which you are telling me, and I'm re-emphasizing this point, that 94, that sound tapes are going around, yeah? And I know you're saying cassette tapes with dubbing off things and whatever going on, yeah? Was going on, hitting, like you said, London and Manchester. And for anyone who doesn't know, when it came to the Afro-Caribbean communities, that's where we were. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what, as much as people see different now, Birmingham, Manchester, and London, and shout out, because of competition, you have to shout out Leeds. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? You got, you know what I'm saying? And we got all, you know, we got all these extra places. So for me, to get around in these circles at time, you can imagine people listening in this, and this is all we heard. So you got this urban access, because there was no radio, there's nothing on radio, nothing on internet. Nothing. There's no YouTube. Forget YouTube, guys. You know what I'm saying? So you got no access through any legitimate distribution point to music that relates to you with the great content. But you guys did that by purpose, by accident in 94.
You got to remember, Roger, there's a lot of things we're not talking about. We're talking about key moments here.
Yeah.
What you've got to understand is we're traveling to Liverpool. We're going to Xtra. We're doing shows around the country.
Yeah.
We're going to where's that place near London?
Raj was
Xtra. Yeah.
What was that geezer from London? The one used to do the kind of festivals and all that. And we went High Wycombe twice.
High Wycombe. His name was it was Mark. It was
When that sound came out and it fired around, you know, what would they call it today? What would they call it today? Where's the kind of the white evangelical youth festival?
Like it was what was it? What they called it?
Soul Model. Yeah. And there was a guy that invited us to High Wycombe twice.
Yeah. It was I know it was, forgive me, it's Caveman's brother.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah. Forgive me.
Because he heard the sound. Because remember, it's going around where it's going around. To me, was support my brethren. Just got married. And we bring there's a movement like what you're saying of all of those who are coming in to the church from the street.
There you go.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
And I think that's important to mention.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
this wasn't just us four.
Yeah.
We're talking people are getting saved.
Yeah.
Anytime we're doing anything.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about fitness first. You're talking about Porsche Club. Porsche Club was Ram. Why was it Ram? It was Ram because there was a movement across the whole of these communities. Aston Christian Centre, Paul, Alex, us, Junior Roth. It was a revival.
Yeah,
We didn't know at the time, but it was a revival because people were getting saved left, right, and centre. And anywhere we were going, people they were drawn to the raw urban sound.
Yes.
The gritty, they related to it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The culture of it, because there's nothing like that was happening.
Yes, no, so there's definitely nothing going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Culture, and when Robin would call them, I remember Robin would.
Do you remember? Do you remember what happened at Porsche Club?
Yeah.
So we're on the stage,
Mhm.
and people are getting excited. Probably you were in there in the background
Yes.
getting excited.
I was
Me see you.
I was straight. Yo, guys, I was
Probably
straight.
you, because because
See that light skin brother.
see there,
You know what I mean?
the part of people there. Yeah. I drove that right.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm immune to this, man. I'm immune to this.
So no, but for me then, yeah, I like them saying, me not really know church. All them artists out there, me don't know them. You know, wine and so yeah, well, that's not my word. So, but what we're coming from the foundation, it is prayer, fasting, seeking God,
Serving God.
serving God,
Church planter.
car park duty.
Yeah, sound man.
Sound is irrelevant.
Worship team.
Yet serve God, because what I want to say to us is, remember, there's a guy called John Wesley,
Yeah, yeah.
Methodist movement.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you study revival and history, John Wesley, he came through the Midlands and everything else, the Methodist movement, John Wesley used the pub songs of the day
Yeah, man. Yep. To be.
and used the beats and the sound and brought the gospel message
To be relevant.
to the audience he was speaking to in the pubs
Mhm.
and on the street, because he needed something. So what we're talking about is modern in our era, but nothing new to God, because God was doing it then. So when these guys had come and says, "Yo, son, I'm looking at I'm already looking at Smith Wigglesworth, John West. I'm
Okay,
deep in
that sort.
and
Yeah.
I'm saying, God, unless there's signs and wonders and miracles, the work of your spirit, then hear me good. It ain't God. It was all or nothing. White is white, black is black. You can't say, "Oh, I think it's the Lord," or "The Lord tell me which God, where him name, where him come from, where you dream." You sin. That's how it was, just raw.
Yeah, man.
So that's the foundation why. And when you've just named all, big up to everyone who came in that time, wherever you are now, even if you're not following God, and if this reaches you, remember the seed that was sown.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Remember, because you were part, they're now the parents, and in some cases, grandparents. You know what I mean? And that fusion that was happening, Jamal rightly says, why was it the Porsche Club was full up?
Ram. It
That-
was ram.
that's
We
the good one.
left.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember leaving Porsche Club.
yeah.
We were performing.
Yeah.
We went home. The place was still ram.
Yeah.
I never seen anything like it. Why? Because people were drawn to
They were
what God-
drawn, they were
what God was
hearing
doing,
the
yeah, they're hearing the
sound.
sound.
Something's happening, and it was gritty, it could relate to them. And I remember on the stage, and I'm the dancer ragaman then of the team. And we all them and we start. And me see a sister broke out. Me say, hold on, stop the music. Yo, wind up. I take this thing off her. And me say, yo, if you come here, come wind up. And it's like God just.
Was about
Because
But that was standard.
It's hopefully back
That was standard.
that was standard.
That was standard.
yeah,
We left there
Yeah.
with not like, oh my gosh, we done something. We left there like, God help us. Like, what do we do now? It was up the such was the awe that we didn't want to get it wrong.
We didn't want to contaminate.
Contaminate
We
what?
didn't want God to open up.
Yeah. So we were like, oh, how can we get it?
How do we keep it?
How do we keep it?
So can I just clarify something? Yeah. So again, I started on this point of Porsche Club, yeah, and so on. So on stage, it was, I remember, Jam was on our far left, from what I remember. Yeah, this is sound weird, There was probably Dennis was just there in next scene, yeah. And then so this is where it gets vague for me. The two other guys. So the two other guys technically was Was that you, Casey, as well on stage? So it was Casey and the ragga man was right on the far side. What he say? Was that sassy? That's crazy.
That was the first time, and I got to give a shout out to Kay, because Kay's not only made I didn't know he made your wedding clothes, but he made my wedding clothes because the tailor man as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man.
but that was the first time we birthed the navy blue.
Yeah, the navy.
The navy blue garments, what you made us. And that was the beginning.
The denim.
The denim, yes. The careful. So because that's we got to come something different. So
Also
that was the beginning. Yep.
But also Cecil was on that.
Yes.
Shout out to Cecil, who also did a verse for us
Yes.
on that night as well. So you may have seen somebody else who came and featured on one of our songs that night. Do you know?
Was Cecil singer?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember because he was going Woodgate as well, wasn't it? Yeah. I remember Cecil.
Big up, Cecil. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Adrian's wedding and your christening were two key moments when it comes to the sound element of what God was birthing through us.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you wanna talk about the christening, Rob, your christening, Robin.
Well,
and that
I'm becoming a dad in it. So, but these men have now stirred something, you know, and it says something's dormant and it gets fired up. So, like Jam says from the beginning, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
So obviously, I want my son's Christian and say, you know what? I'm gonna have everybody there. So I want to ensure. That's why big up Alex, DJ Alex, you know, the man that introduced me to him,
Foundation.
and him understand the mission. Because it's not about entertainment. It's about bringing that message and understand what's going on in the community at that time. You know?
and the church. I think that's where we were. I think that's where we were conflicted, because we understood what was going on in the church, and we didn't want to. We wanted to kind of like lift the church and lift some of the things we've seen going on in the church and be an example to them, but also knowing that parts of the church love the world, but we knew what the world was. So we were kind of like caught in between and saying, right, how are we gonna navigate and the tension between the two? Do you know what I mean?
Because you have to understand, when after Adrian wedding was my christening of my son, and that was the same year,
95.
95. Now my son is here. I don't want nothing to contaminate my son. So anybody thinks they're not coming here, it ain't gonna happen. And these guys know by then, because we're in this mode. We're doing stuff here and there. We're going up to Toxford. People are getting saved. Man are like, oh my God. We're going down to High Wycombe. My man call us back. Boom, boom, boom. All these things are happening. And you're like, okay, this is something's here, you know.
We're running, bro. We're running at this point. At this stage, we are running.
Yeah,
We're running.
Something stirred. Certain road. No, from my world of, if you like, then, if I call it dancehall culture, but the road and certain things is, what I look like something I want with something. Because I'm out in my highways and byways talking to I'm talking to, but now they're hearing it. I remember my brother get a copy of the tape. So I go. So I go. We are redo the rebirth. You know what I'm saying? And that went up Leeds, Huddersfield,
This is the
Sheffield.
christening tape, innit?
Yeah. Bam.
Oh, so once again, so you done another quick. So you done the wedding.
We've done
The wedding was one level.
one tape.
That was like, yo, this is it.
And then we did the christening, which was another tape that circulated.
Circulate.
So you guys, now obviously you guys are gonna come with a sound engineer. Yeah. So you guys purposely, obviously, do what you do. You record this session, yeah.
Yeah.
You record this session. So who distributed it now? Who gave the first dub out there that started the fire?
What normally would happen is
Go on,
it
explain
would be dubbed. So it will be like
it's my son, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'm making sure I'm giving copies to the man them.
Oh,
Do you want? Do you?
okay.
I remember,
Okay, yeah,
understand?
yeah.
You can copy tape to
Yeah,
tape.
yeah.
So it's literally
I
you.
use dubs.
For me,
Yeah.
make sure my brother have it, you know. So me know so that gone now.
Yeah.
That gone up north.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in my circle.
setting
If
fires,
these guys,
yeah.
But I want them to know, say, yo.
Yeah.
So them I say, well, wait, sus. I saw y'all go out. I say, yo, Jesus Christ, all or nothing. Yo. So they're like, boy. And from there, right, you feel the energy in the room now. You feel the presence of God. Because that's what it's about. If we can't be vehicles for God to channel his life, to connect, because we didn't really know what would come after that.
No, we didn't. And what was beautiful at that moment, see, it's interesting. You got guys from the street, and all of a sudden we hit a church, and it's the first time we understand the rudiments, the structure, and there's foundation, there's levels. We started to understand the language of serving and all those particular things, callings, fivefold ministries, and all that kind of thing. So we're hitting a stage now. As we get in that and we get into that levels there, we're starting to hit life groups and etc. And that's when the Genesis moment became introducing.
Well, that's where I was gonna go, because we hit two notes with Adrian's wedding,
Yeah.
and Robin's christening, and
Yeah.
they are really Genesis birthing moments for sound. It was like, without a doubt, this is what we are. We know where we're heading to. But you got to remember, between Adrian's wedding, which is 94, and Robin's christening, which is October 95, that's a whole year.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
in between that,
That-
we're traveling.
Yeah.
We're doing shows as Shekinah, the rap reggae group. Because we've already fused. You
So
understand?
the thing is, I will see things like this, and you know, when you guys say that now, I'm thinking about groups, and I look at it from a secular style that has like a rap and a Caribbean kind of, if you know, I'm looking at Fugees at the is it Fugees at the time? You know what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes, you know what I mean?
Original, yeah, man.
Yeah, so like I'm hearing that fusion, so it makes sense to me, but it still didn't make it was a tough call at the time to make, and I appreciate that. Now, if I'm watching in this now, because obviously they're going, we're talking a few roads. Well, we're talking about Birmingham Central in terms of the names that you're dropping. Now, looking from a gospel kind of perspective in the scene now, whatever, and they're going, okay, so did you guys bump into? Who did you bump into on the way when you go? Was there any rappers?
We're gonna get there, brother.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay,
get
okay.
there.
Oh,
We're
sorry,
gonna
people.
get
So
there.
was
We're
that-
gonna get there. We're gonna get there. What I'm trying to do,
Yeah, no,
Roger,
no,
I'm
it's
trying
sweet,
to
man,
do
it's sweet.
chronology.
Yeah, no,
What's the
no,
word?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Chronologically,
cool.
so the story's told properly. You
No,
understand?
no,
what I'm saying?
cool,
so,
man. That's cool, bro.
So we are Robin's christening
Yeah.
October 95. Adrian's wedding August 94.
Yeah, cool.
Sound. This is sound. This
Sound,
is the
yeah.
sound. In between that,
You're doing shows.
we're doing shows.
Yeah, cool.
We go into, if we backtrack from the christening, which is in October 95, we backtrack to about August of 95.
Go on.
In August of 95, this is where we're stirred up. The sound, we want to do the sound. Me and Dennis are traveling the whole of Birmingham, going to everybody who we knew had a studio, becoming their friend and wanting to build tracks. This is me and Dennis. We're in my house 24/7, Atari, ST, buying samplers, wireless musics. Big up to Sean P, who hooked us up with a sampler. We're making
them, man. There.
we're trying to build with what we had. So we're fired up now. I think it's around August of 95. I go to a home group. We are part of the same church. We're all at Woodgate. We're all doing
Woodgate
home
Church,
group
yeah, cool.
because this is what we do. I go into a home group. Shout out to Carol. This is on Alfred Road in Handsworth. I go into this home group and I meet this brother. Don't know him, but he has a passion for street. He has a Jamaican twang. He knows street. I can hear the street come out of this brother. And I'm thinking, rah, who is this brother? and he's just talking passionately about street. He's talking about the youths. He's talking about music. And I'm like, who is this brother? It's Rico.
Shout out to Carol.
Wow. Okay.
So shout out to Carol who invited him.
Yeah.
His sister at the time used to come to Woodgate.
Okay.
So shout out to Diane.
So Rico's sister used to go Woodgate.
Rico's sister used to come to Woodgate. So I hear Rico talking, and I'm like, yo, this brother has a heart, and it's the same heart, and it's the same thread and synergy that we have. And I'm like, yo, who's this brother? I just catch a fire when I'm hearing this brother. I introduce myself, little chit chat, but I run back to these mans.
Jamal called me. No, Jamal called me and said, D, you need to. And I'm like, so I said to him, because my life group was on Wellington Road, Handsworth.
Yeah.
So Jamal says, next time we do it, I must stop off, leave early, and come up Carol's best Carol, man.
Yeah. So one thing led to another. I introduce Rico to the team, to everyone.
Okay.
And there's a natural synergy. It just feels like another piece. What it felt like for me, it felt balanced. It felt like if we bring Rico in, it's going to balance out who we are, because Robin is by himself on a reggae team. You understand what I'm saying? Too much. And Reeks had a vast amount of experience. He knew people. He had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, man.
And we just thought, this just fits. It felt right. So he says, you know what? Let's bring him in.
That's 95.
That's, I'm going to say, August 95. Because I remember going to Carol's in the summer. Yeah, it was August 95. And I know why it's August 95, because I believe Reeks' first thing he did with us was the christening, which is in October.
And the reason
What was it going? So Weeks was the mic man at the christening.
yeah, so what happened?
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you when, what's that, because that's when that rhythm was the Antichrist, no, then and nice.
There you go.
And then Rico done the born again, and we not look no friend. So that tape just
It went viral.
It didn't HMSS have
yes, that's the one birthed. Respect, big up to Redbeard and them man's there down there,
HMS
and
crew.
big up to MOD and all them man's there. So that's the
sound tape they, I believe, heard the christening.
and
that's
and
October
Manchester
95.
Cozzy Manchester. Salute Cozzy.
So Reeks joined Shekinah around August 95. We do Robin's christening October 95. We are then put up for the best regional gospel award nationally.
Regional? What do you mean regional?
So we won the regional. We didn't respectfully the organizational body. We didn't know how they knew of us, but we were given. We won the regional award
For the Midlands area.
Yes,
For the Midlands area.
for the Midlands area, and then subsequently they got to the national award, and it was Bless Cozzy, but a brother ironically from Brooklyn, on Soho Road 74. He said, "Are you in the newspaper?" And it was from the Voice newspaper. You there? And I was like, "How did I know us? Where did I use these FBI?" That's how we saw it. You know, like who would, in that sense there. But Karen Johns.
Yeah. So we're talking. We get put up, or we win the best regional, probably around the summertime of 95, which, like Dennis says, puts us up for the national.
What was the award, sorry, again?
The award is the Black Gospel Media Arts Network, and that was held in November.
Who ran that?
That was run by Basil Mead.
Okay. I think we might know him. Yes.
From London.
Yeah.
London, what? London Gospel.
London, because it's quite. See, this is my area now, so they're like this. Basil Mead.
Do you know about that? What was on the time?
Me, no, because you know what he was, guys, on a real, like, and what people, I've said many times, I was a football I was in football. You know what I mean? I was in football like crazy. It took for, I didn't like music because it was gospel music was dry. And it didn't attract me. And the only time it was like God had to say, yo, this is your thing. And that was not till about 96. You know what I mean? So I wasn't coming off. And it's all in time because if it came any earlier, you gotta realize my age group who grew up in church are musicians.
Yeah, you would
You
have
would use
been,
it.
you
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have been
yeah.
younger, bro. You would have been probably 18-ish.
Yeah. Because I'm a few,
years
couple, yeah,
older,
yeah. So I used the wrong time for me, but that's crazy because Basil Mead, obviously LCGC, these guys are like infamous to us, like yo, and he had a board and he knew you guys.
Yeah, well, we was up for the
Jeez,
national award, and we
crazy.
was up against, at the time, I think was the only other reggae gospel artist, which was Watchman.
Yep.
So
Yes.
Watchman,
And big up Gifted and them man's there.
Gifted, yeah.
That's
Okay,
the kind of
Gifted was it,
main
okay.
time
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So we was up against
Yeah, we have to,
Watchman.
And that was the only. Yeah, that's the question. Respectfully, at the time, who did we come up with? Or
Yeah.
that's when Gifted and Watchmen we heard of.
Yeah.
But respectfully, prior to that, we had no idea. It's through that media gospel that we start to hear of
About other
others.
guys,
Yeah.
because Gifted, like I said, he's one of the people, and I want to get my hands on him, but I know for London, the London guys, that was one of the, I was founding fathers for the hip hop around that in that region. From
was.
you know what I'm saying,
It
in
was.
terms of talking to a lot of guys,
Recorded
guys.
because respectfully, there were others who were doing.
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
but
of course, man, of
recorded,
course,
documented in that sense there, yeah.
of course.
So
So that was at Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah.
And that was.
How did you get down there?
Well, we travelled in Wabbin's Batmobile.
Batmobile, man.
The Volvo.
The boy, the
The
tank,
tank,
the tank.
you know.
The
He
tank.
put £2 in it. He full of tank in it.
And the Scotland.
Yo, don't write with a tank, the Volvo.
Took us everywhere,
Tank,
man.
man.
Yo.
Jeez, give thanks.
Yeah, man. So I mean, that was.
So who won it though? It was
Well, we didn't. Watchman won that.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? But I think just being part of it gave us a
Yeah.
It gave us a bigger.
Well, recognition, and
It gave us recognition, but it also gave us a bigger view into the gospel
gospel
scene
scene,
because
what
at
it's
that
like.
time
Wood,
we saw.
urban, mission.
You didn't know about it.
Yeah, you just
nobody.
You know what I mean? Again, Yolanda Adams performed that night.
Yeah.
We're like, but to be fair, she blew the roof off. But we was like, who's Yolanda Adams? First time we engaged with her, seen her, but she was
I
amazing.
can't take you to no concert.
You know
man.
what I mean?
Like easy, yeah, like that.
Yo, new colours.
crazy.
Do you know what I mean? New
New
colours.
colours, yeah, man.
Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yo, that will go.
There were people like Freddie Coffey, the Wades,
Freddie
Dawn
Coffey.
Thompson, yeah, all of these artists.
Who's there?
Yeah, they were
The
there.
ways, man. Yeah,
The
man.
Wades, they're all there. Do you know what I mean? But to be fair, for us, we were ghetto youths.
we don't know about that.
You didn't know about nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? It was just grimy.
Churchified.
Did you perform at the event?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
performing
You
events.
just went there to
went there
to okay.
Yeah, to pick up the award. Even though we didn't win.
I won't repeat what Miss said, but yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that was
An experience, yeah.
that was November
95.
95.
Okay.
November 95.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's
Wow.
there's the Black Britain stuff and all of that we engaged in. If you guys want to,
Yeah,
so,
Black Britain. Okay, cool. Tell me about Black Britain.
Yeah, so that came through the journalist back then was Henry, wasn't it? Henry.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So Black Britain was a documentary that used to be a documentary that was done by the BBC Two, used to be shown on BBC Two,
Yeah.
and it was talking about heritage of Black Britain, etc. And there was a journalist named Mr. Henry, and he heard of a group in the UK that was radical in bringing the gospel in a radical format via the sound. So the BBC came up and they followed us for a good probably week or two, going to the studio, to Earth Studio. Shout out to Dickie.
Dickie Ranks.
yeah, big up Dickie.
Pick up Vicky. He's up. So, and we were just there, come to my flat, have the conversation down the back of days.
Because
Mm.
that's where, through Rico and the links, we met Dickie.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I knew of Rico due to Sifa.
Mhm.
And back in the day, his sound, you know what I mean? And in his time, Jungle and all of them, man, them. So Rico then introduced us to build the track.
Yeah, that was, I mean, for us, it was like a big piece of the puzzle
Yeah,
at the time to say, you know what, we could actually move this thing forward. You know, having studio time.
And if I
And
double
all of
click
that
on that
type.
point that on the studio, even that's when we begin to recognize the favor of God, because respect for Dickie. I mean, he was opening up the facilities for us for free to use
State of the art.
and stay to the art studio. And we just knew that guys must be doing something. So we didn't want to do anything to mess it up. And so Henry came and was following us, and then that became the genesis of the fitness
first
because that was
filmed.
during that time.
Yeah. Because I went to fitness first now. Yeah. Was there fitness first before Porsche Club?
No,
After. Okay, so I went to one of them more likely. There was about 3-4 of them. I did, because I remember going to them. I remember it was weird. Bear in mind, I never went to sound. You know what I mean? System. So you know what I mean. So I pretty much thinking, what the heck is this? This geezer's in some zones that he should be in. But anyway, I went to his and he was playing music, and I remember it was kind of dark. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just like
that's what happens in sound.
yeah. So I was like going, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? And a little bar and this man talking over mic and tunes are being played. It was more reggae folk for me. I could hear the reggae. I knew Shekinah from a rap perspective. You know what I mean? So I saw you guys rap, yeah, and have a little. And that's not little, but a little dancehall element on it, yeah. So I heard that flavor, but when I went to the fitness first, it was more a reggae than it was hip hop. But then I understood the access to gospel rap was different too, and then what I realized about sound culture quite quickly, you can have one rhythm and have 15 tunes on it. You know what I'm saying?
And at the time, I mean, this was the struggle, like for me, Dennis and Casey, like the accessibility to gospel. It was behind.
Yeah.
It was way behind, and it wasn't being produced quick enough. The artists were coming out with stuff. The Americans were doing some stuff, like I say, Mike Peace, Dynamic Twins, and all that type of stuff. But for me, you know, coming from the background that we was coming from a hip hop perspective, I wouldn't play that in front of anybody. I wouldn't play that to my peers. Do you know what I'm saying? So me and Dennis was always trying to find a way to produce, get that sound, and that was our struggle. Do you know what I mean? Hence why, you know, our first tunes were over like Jehu the Damager, Black Sheep. We had to just improvise, but we were always trying to create our own sound, produce our own stuff. But it was difficult back then because technology isn't what it is today. Technology back then is, you know, I don't think MPC was.
And that's why I use regarding back recorded, because at that time we couldn't record on Black Sheep music because obviously they've already used it, so we couldn't necessarily record them stuff there. But it was easier regarding the reggae to do it that style there. So we always recognize that, Lord, when that time comes available, we would launch. But until then, we will hold our corner and then move on this way. So back then, what was happening was, why I say soul, because that's where to Fix and Alex, they were remixing. They was using like secular instrumentals, putting on and doing all that kind of stuff there. So all that was kind of generated, and then you had obviously Rico and Assassin to do their things.
So how you know, and this is what, for all the amazing stuff that you've done, like I said, and it's amazing how far I see it, and you guys are ready to be recorded. But the restriction of technology, investment into that area, because let's be real, you're young, you're being blessed. There is no church going, I'm going to set up a studio in my space for you guys to young people to work in and whatsoever, which it sounds crazy. We're still asking the question today. Sorry, Rev. We still have, ironically, the same problem that you have there back then. We still genuinely do have, and even if churches invest into it, they control it in a way which is not conducive for young artists to growing and whatsoever.
Freedom of creativity, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't have that freedom of creativity.
And I think what you have to understand, you know, you see another significant moment around Porsche, which led into everyone was told, don't you dare go to no Porsche club. At the devil music. Yeah.
Good job, my dad didn't even know what Porsche Club was.
right? And I always say this when we cross. I says, imagine I did never music, but catapult 20, 30 years later, convention, everything. Everybody had broke out with the same thing because they didn't understand. And this is why we have to, one of the purpose of having this conversation is for those, who is God raising up today? Because just because you don't understand it or can't recognize it or fully grasp it or can control it, it don't mean it isn't God. And because we were outcast, that's why you laugh, Mrs. Yolanda Adams, who's that? And we're like, well, because we were, oh yeah, I understand who she is now, but we were the outcasts, that grit that people draw to. Think about what you've heard. You go to a secular nightclub in Birmingham known for violence and
Stabbing.
crime
know,
and
That's watching
shutters and all of that.
You know, there's people I see get beat up at Porsche Club. I used to go there before I got saved. I see man get battered in that place. Where,
Shut like that.
yeah, that's why I shut down.
And to then say you're going to bring the gospel message into the highways and the byways on the grit end to meet those who don't identify with what they see the expression of Christ is. And this is the purpose of what God birthed in Shekinah, to go into the highways and but bring Shekinah, his glory, his presence, his word, good news. I do the rest.
You see, I think what drove us, for me personally, I can't speak for these guys. The church thing didn't bother me. The church not acknowledging me personally didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. It drove me. It drove me to do even more, to go to the world even more. We would have, me and Dennis would dream so big about what the possibilities of what we could do from an events perspective, you know, and what we could do in terms of getting the gospel to the unsaved. And I think it's important, you know, if you're an artist, if you're a ministry, to know who you're called to and what your calling is. And we were very streamlined and we understood our mission. It was not for the church, but the church came and backed us. There were people who loved our sound, loved how we represented the gospel, and they followed us. So I think it's important that, I think when I look back at it, hence we saw the favor of God just door after door. Here's the thing: there's no MySpace, there's no internet, there's no Instagram, there's no social media.
Flyers in CLC.
But yeah, the BBC come knocking. We don't know. Do we know anybody from BBC? We don't know anybody from BBC, but they come and look for us. Why is that? That's not because of our great talent, even though we're gifted. That's not because we even had a great sound. We were just starting out. We were recording our things on tape. You understand what I'm saying? This was the favor of God. This was God saying, I am with you because you know your mission and you know what you're called to and where you are called to go. And God was just opening the doors, opening the doors, opening the doors. And that's why it's important that you know what you're called to, who you're called to, and you stick to it. You don't deviate to the left or the right, or you go to where the crowd is or where you're going to be celebrated. Because here's the thing, you may not be celebrated where God's calling you to, but if God's got you, God will favor you and the doors will open and you will find favor wherever you go. And that is what we found.
That's right. And the testament of that is 30 years on, we're still in that vein individually.
100%.
With what was, sometimes you don't know what God is leading to. I'll give you an example. God says to Peter, here's some theology. God says to Peter, I'm going to make you the key. I'm going to give you the keys of the kingdom. When you read in the book of Acts, Peter was the one who opened up the doors for the Gentiles and the Jews. For the Jews, he went. But the door that he opened with Cornelius, the first recorded non-Jewish people to come and experience exactly the outpouring of Pentecost, yeah, that opened up the door, not for him, but for who we know came later on,
Yeah.
Paul. So we don't fully, even today, know what was happening then to set the foundation for whatever, because it's only when you come find me, you know. But I mean, I know where I look for you, sir. Right? And
You
you
grass him up.
but yeah, everyone gets into that. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is when you started to break down to me the impact of what we're describing
Yeah.
then has had over these 30 plus years, I'm like, can really Andrew me not know gospel music industry
Yeah.
connoisseur.
Yeah.
We just like, yo, we are, boom. And if you come to my church today, which ain't for the saved, it's for the unsaved, it's the same format.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful what you're saying there, because you know Roger, who's actually interviewing us, is actually telling us and sharing about that impact. And there's many more. I'm sure there's many more out there.
Yeah.
But I think what's more important is to kind of highlight the level of creativity that's needed, the rigidity of the church, the fear that underlines that rigidity, because we should be the holders of music. We should be the generators of music. What we're saying is we're taking that's out there and putting our
Spin to it.
stamp on it.
Stamp on it.
Do you know what I mean? It should be the other way around. And this is the wayward thinking that we have, you know, in the church. It's very much, oh wow, the world. But I was thinking about this.
Go on.
God so loved the world.
Yeah.
And this is where we get it wrong. We talk the world is this and the world is that, but God so loved the world.
Yeah.
And we forget that all the time. Do you know what I mean? So I just think it's really, really important to recognize that we should be the ones that's creative. We should have that creative freedom to be able to extend that and put our stamp on these things and do what we did and more.
If I could double click on the point
me have
what Jams has said, and I think it's very key, and because we've gone down and we've done what we've done, sometimes from the outside looking in, people could think, oh, I can do that. And in that mentality that I can do that, you lose focus on the genesis, what got us there.
Come on.
That what got us there wasn't a case of I can do that. It was, God, what can we do? We don't want to mess up what you're doing. And that comes from a calling. See, some people might see something and think, I can do that, but you're not called to do that.
Come on.
And what happens is, when that happens, then it begins to lose its focus. It then, originally from the marketplace to go into the world, it then becomes stagnant and moves into a direction to somewhere where it wasn't intending to go, because the heart was to go into the marketplace, to stir and encourage. I mean, look at the wildfires that started from a conversation of, Lord, we don't want to get it wrong. We got to go fast. It didn't start from like, I can do that. It started from, Lord, let me pray. I need to pray more. I don't want to mess up what's going on. And it's hearing the sound. I mean, the Acts talks about, then came the sound of a mighty rushing wind. So it recognizes, discerning the seasons. We're going to go in this direction. That might mean it might come at the cost of what we like as hip hoppers. But we heard enough to say, God, you're going in this direction, and we're going to have to do this. And if it means laying us down for that, then by all means, because it's what you desire. And that's why I want to double click on what Jam says on that.
Definitely, brother. That was our heart, and we were always, and I salute Robin for that, even though we clashed, my friend.
So clash.
Yeah, no, but it disciplined, and it kept it. The rudder was set north. Because here's the thing: you go 1 degree off north, you end up somewhere in foreign.
Yeah.
And that's why I say we were set and we were solid and we knew what God had called us to. Hence the favor, hence the doors opening, hence people calling us from around the country to come. I don't think any of us had mobile phones Never mind. Never mind. So how did they find us? Only God. You understand what I'm saying? And that was because we were true to our convictions, true to what God had called us to. And like Dennis says, we were called to it. Yes, you can do it, but are you called to it? And that's why I will encourage anybody who's called to creative music ministry, any ministry, make sure you know that God has called you to it, because he will give you the grace to see it through. Or if not, you'll end up doing it in your own strength and by your own might, and you will struggle.
And if I double click on that point, the fruit of that is, where are they now? And if you want to find out in terms of how you're called, it's about seeking the heart of the Father, seeking the heart of Jesus, where we're called. That's number one. Number two is having that accountability. We had Robs, we had Casey, we had sometimes there were sometimes when I didn't want him to come, and Casey would be like, D, come on, man, are you joking, man? Let me go sleep, man. I'm hungry. No, we got to fast. The accountability jams were like, yo, we got to do this. When we finished the show, it was next day we met up. What did we do wrong? What could we do to improve?
Cool. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So right. So Porsche Club's gone in place. Fitness First is in place. Now, having my conversations, as people would heard many times with Rico, there's this infamous spot which you guys have already alluded to, is in Manchester. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now having conversation now, guys, believe it or not, I don't turn up into these things without any knowledge or pre-conversation. So I wasn't saying I was at Manchester, but I've always heard about this Manchester gig. Yeah. Definitely with Rico, from Rico lens. Yeah. Rico always, watch out, yo, Manchester. And I also, for the first time when I did meet up Robin, I didn't know Robin was there. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm not asking questions about who was there. I'm just saying Shekinah sound system was there. Now that was, I believe, would be Carnival 96, or kind of so much coming to 96. So now I'm seeing you guys at Fitness First, that came after Porsche Club, so it's almost the after parties after the big party, and bear in mind, people, there was, I thought there'd be about 5 people at Porsche Club. Let me be honest, I come into this club, I said, no one's gonna want to come here, you know what I'm saying? And there were, knowing church folk, there were hundreds. There's a good couple hundred people in there, and I never knew there were so many young Christians in Birmingham.
There are a lot of unsaved people in there as well.
It was lots. Yeah. You want a safe place. So for me, guys, it was inspirational from that perspective. Fitness First, people there enjoying themselves, seeing them happen. It almost
got the snow. Fitness First.
Yeah.
We didn't think no one would come.
Yeah, I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was there, and then there's this event happening, carnivals now. So this Carnival Manchester event. Now, I don't know who was there. Robin put his hand up and said, I was there as well, And Rico talks about, you was there as well? Okay. Jam was there as well?
I think I was.
Was it there? Yeah, because I think I spoke to you about that, but I don't think you was there, So, this we referred to from Rico, and confirmed it, and I've confirmed it with Robin, in terms of being a start bed for almost Reggae, not start, but like a really, almost like the catalyst, the thing that starts the bubble, worldwide, and seeing the impact was at Manchester. Now, you two that was there, give us an explanation from your perspective. What was Manchester? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's interesting
how it came about.
It's interesting timeline. We talked about the tapes.
Yeah.
Salute to Kazi and them guys there.
You say Kazi?
Yeah. They caught the tapes, what was going on around. They had blessed them, and this is...
Who's Kazi, by the way?
So Kazi was a brother from down in Manchester. He used to, if my memory serves me right, he was a Church of God of Prophecy link down in Manchester, or from up here. So they caught the tapes. Remember we talked about the tapes going around?
And wanted to do outreach.
And they wanted to do outreach. And this is what I gotta give a salute to them guys there. They was given an opportunity to be an outreach. This is when the gang thing was rife in Manchester. Gunchester. It was rife. And they had an opportunity to do something and bless them. they said we can't do it. Which if you circle back to what Jam says and what we mentioned about being called, the humility to recognize
Yeah.
we
Good skill
can't
set.
do this,
Yeah.
but we know a guy who can.
Yeah.
Guys who can, and I don't mean to not as a boast, but it's almost like the Peter and Joppa Cornelius.
Yeah, of course, man.
It's that in that sense.
Course.
So they reached out, and the reason why they reached out because they salute to Tanya and them guys, and even Lisa, Michelle, and all these sisters. And I gotta give a super shout out to them because they were the ones to pass on word of mouth, and these guys were part of the community. You know, gotta give a super shout. They reached out to us and said they wanted to come down. So we ended up going down in Manchester, and then myself and Weeks and
It was really, but Dickie,
and Dickie.
because that's where we went into Earth. Let me tell this story.
Okay,
So,
cool.
We,
So Dickie went with you?
yeah, man.
Okay.
So Dickie ranks, man.
Dick used to roll, man.
Dickie roll, man. And at the time, because obviously, if you know, Dickie used to make tune for all of the artists, them, yeah?
Yeah, big producer, man.
Big time producer in the reggae scene, you know what I mean? And again, props up to Reeks. Reeks introduced Dickie to us and the vision, and Dickie said, yeah, man, I have it, me see it. So the Manchester call come, and what was also stirring in my heart was the call. So for me, this is part of my calling. But then there's, you know, going back to the church and the deadness.
Yeah.
So God said, what I want you to start to understand the deadness and what we're gonna do. Because what's the point? People coming in and there's nobody looking after them and discipling them.
Yeah.
So all that's going on as I'm fasting them. 40-day fasting is a regular thing back then. So I'm fasting and praying. So if you know how to do it, you know.
Yo, I have to bill up first.
Well,
I have to bill up for that, you know.
we can help you.
But the conversation was, Dickie, and Reeks know this. We need to build a tune that I will catch them. Do. And there was a guy in the studio at the time,
Tremendous.
terrific, from Yard, and he was linked to, was it Lucci?
Yeah, it was like, and he's been doing a dub.
He was doing a dub plate for Lucci.
Secular.
And Ricky was bidding it for him. So he was around, and how we knew that this was the moment, we never forget him, you know, as I dread him said, John, I wanna have the power. Me have to go tell Jamaica, say, me hear something a go on in the studio in England, and a gospel, them man, them have the real power. And I never forget that, because we knew, Dickie had built it. So you used the term, the Genesis moment. You said you spoke to Reeks, and it was the moment for him that cemented, Everybody was saying, don't go out, man. You're Manchester, you're mad. Is that the height?
Not that time.
Not that.
Yeah.
But it's the mission. So we said, all right then, let's go. And again, we drive up, and me drive everybody up.
I will drive up.
Yeah. I'm blessed because we got there. Now, Cleopatra was on the bill at the time. In the park. Before they
No, they were
there. They were
there.
like the supporting act
Yeah,
for them,
yeah.
really. But it was a gospel segment
Yeah.
in the carnival. And that's why Dennis says, oh, them man, them says, you know what, we can't do it. Let's bring them man, them.
Okay, cool.
So, okay. So
So you're on the main stage. You plugged
We're on the
into
main
the-
stage,
Yeah.
and we had they gave us two
songs,
tracks.
two tracks.
And I gotta give a shout out to the church down there. I love that the fact when you look back at it now, before you look back and you say, thank you, Lord, because these guys, they just came and you consider a pair of warriors. They came and supported. I remember they come at the front and they were
Just praying.
they were praying and they were going in, and we just and a shout out to Stacey who gave me the instrumental. It was a Pete Rock remix, and I just remember just rapping on that
Awesome.
song there, and I was on my own. My partner in crime jams weren't there with me, so I had to represent, and I just remember the lines that we did, and I just remember when we done, Dickie, even when we prayed, Dickie was in tears because he said he felt something, and that's what I understand what Rico was saying about he said something there because we was right in the heart of where we were supposed to be.
It's a performance. It was, you had two
No sound,
It was
no sound.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
no sound. So
it was a performance.
performance,
So you did a rap.
yeah, and then them man's come in
And then
and
what
obviously-
happened? Yeah. Remember why I've told that story with Terrific was the presence of God came in Earth Studio.
When you build on the rhythm.
When something happened and it caught something, and that's the power of what you're going back to, that creativity. Remember, who's the creator of music? Who is the worship leader? Morning Star, Lucifer, Satan. He knows the power of music.
Of course it does.
Yeah. And so at that moment, you could sense the things were going up there. So you have a element over there, so an element over there, so the church folks in the middle praying and trying to, and saying, yes, Lord. And when we come on, and when that track played.
So that track was after the rap.
No, well, there was respectfully. When you're there, because you got a bird's eye view of people, and I just remember the guys in the corner, and you're thinking, boy, as soon as they heard the sound, and then the church heard, I remember causing their mans because they're familiar with that people track. They just jumped up, and their mans everyone came circling, and everyone came forward, like, what is this? And that's what led the Cleopatra manager says, no, you need to stay and watch these because, once we finished, he just
because when the Dennis done his bit, this is the fusion now. And then we did our bit. And they were like, oh my, but what?
So you did it. So you did it on the rhythm that was built. So you guys did the rhythm, and it was that you on stage.
That's me and Rico.
You Rico on stage.
Yeah. So
That's
what that show?
He didn't say that part to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know that me carry us there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But this is your kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
drive.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And remember, understand the background.
Yeah.
We're not just driving and talking. We're driving and praying.
Yeah.
We're going into. We could get shot. Anything can happen. So we're praying from. You enter my car. Yeah, you better pray or you come out. No, that true.
Yeah.
And now you're going into hostile environment and want to bring Christ. And these guys wanted the message of Christ to get into their community. But they needed something that could do that.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and we all saw what we saw, it was like the Red Sea not parting but coming back together.
Wow.
Ups in the same space round the stage. People are like, oh, they're gonna pop off. We don't know who's who. We're just seeing people just coming in. The manager of Cleopatra saying, yo, what is this? A gospel?
Yeah, he's a card.
But it's outreach to us.
Yeah.
So from there, we do a thing, boom, boom, boom. Them ladies come on. We're driving back. I'm saying, wow.
What happened?
What was that? That was that boom, slam dunk, God does, boom. Them guys in Manchester, you don't understand who came side by side and nothing never happened. So that's another sign that God is able.
That's mainstage 96.
Yeah.
Mainstage, Manchester Carnival.
And then the conversation in the car coming down was, you know what? God's got it. God's calling me to now what is bringing hope.
Yeah.
Was already birthed from when I got saved.
Yeah.
But now there has to be a focus because remember, Church Mizurang, a lot of the folks that came in at the time we've mentioned, a lot of them started to get upset with what they were seeing in church and they left.
Yeah.
So that's hurting me because these are my street people. And
Yeah.
so I'm saying, God, that's when going back to what everybody says, you got to know your purpose. All right, them not laughing and say, oh, Bishop Robbie and da. That's now birthing now. You understand? So when me are going monks leader, them know me are, me are come with fire. But what are we doing? Because we're supposed to be building disciples. And that ain't happening even today.
Yeah.
So when you then hear that and see that, I'm driving back and we're buzzing. But in my heart, I'm hearing God say, now you need to go and do the next bit of the jigsaw.
Jeez.
Because this will always be a part of me.
Yeah.
You understand? I can't take hold DJing from Jamo.
Yeah.
We can't take hold DJing from Mr. Casey. The other day, you think me don't know where you when Dennis build the tune. And you said, Dennis! And I say, yeah, he still got it. You don't, it's who God's made you to be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And from there,
Yeah, man. Things
I think that was
Yeah.
I think that was something we wrestled with. We were always looking at the bigger picture. We were never just looking at the music.
Yeah.
We were never just looking at the stage. That was just not a small part. It was part of what we did. There was the prayer, there was the discipleship. It's like, where are these guys going to go? Because these are our peers. These are people we know.
Yeah.
Coming from road, and it was like, well, are they going to come to our church? How are we going to disciple them? What does that look like? So we're looking at the whole picture, as well as birthing this movement, as well as pioneering music, as well as going to carnivals, being up for awards. There was just a lot of things we were wrestling with. We're young men. We're young men.
in Christ.
We're just
wanted to share with our peers.
Yeah.
What we were
Yeah.
experiencing.
Yeah.
We wanted our peers to experience because we're coming off a road. So, a lot.
Oh, that's 4 years, bro. That's a very heavy duty. And 4 years in a time where there's no internet. You know what I'm saying? Just emphasize, guys, internet has changed the game in terms of communicating. Barely no mobile phone. So no one's, and if there was a mobile phone, you weren't acting.
just like, Dennis, I'm coming to your house at 12 o'clock, but make sure you're in. Don't make me walk to your house and you're not there, brother.
The only thing we had back then is
Mobile phones were coming in.
Yeah,
We're coming.
pages. The pages. No, we had the pages. The pages. Escape pages. The pages.
We didn't have mobile phone money though.
I just want to. I know. I just want to double click. I just want to double click on the point made in terms of, because something probably there's a lot of pages. There's chapter headlines, but there's a lot of pages in between, and some of the pages in between was the tension. What just been alluded to, Every Case and the guys alluded to earlier, that as we were growing in the faith and doing what we're doing and recognizing people coming, our peers coming, we had the other tension that we started to understand this church language, but recognize there's a tension. I don't know if our friends can go to that setup. I don't know whether that church is ready for that. And these are the Genesis moment regarding about even for Rob's to talk about what he was building, recognizing actually they're gonna have to come to something, and what are we gonna do? I mean, me and Jams was even talking about one of the things that we were even piloting what we was gonna do was the Alton Towers. The Alton Towers event where we were looking about getting coaches and using the tower and then Alton Towers on the theme day. But even then we was thinking, how was the church going to view that? How can we police that? How can we? So all these things we were looking at in that sense there. So there was a lot of tension in between, and we were young, no resources, and no church saying we're going to back you, we're going to support you, we're going to do this. There's none of that because of it, So and at such an early time as well, way before it's happening.
Okay, so at this time, and before we come into almost the I would call it the handover period, before we come into that, looking back, and I think sometimes we have to reflect and analyze and be critical, because we have to be critical, because sometimes if you're not critical, we become what we despised when we were younger. It blocked us. What I find and annoys me is when I go into certain rooms, they go, Roger, do you agree with drill beating gospel. And that's my immediate response is, remember when you were banned to go Andrea Crouch because it sounded popular? Yeah? You know what I'm saying? I says, you're saying the same thing that your parents said to you and banning you. Can we stop doing this? The content of the content is the key thing. The style of music is just the carrier pigeon of what needs to happen. We continue doing this. We mentioned a number of times this is not church bashing or people bashing, churchy people bashing at the time. If you had, what type of support would you say it really needed for you guys? Because you come out to Shekinah, I know you recorded, I know you did the confusa but I'm talking about really recorded and whatever and really took it up. What would you say if you could whisper in a bishop's head, go back and worshiping and said, listen, do this, do that, do this, and you will see something. Even though you done mighty, I'm not despising what you done, but you done all your stuff with so little. What would you say would be the different thing? If is that I don't know if that makes sense.
I say myself.
What would you do different?
No,
Or what would we ask
what
the
do you need?
church?
What would you need? What would
church.
what did you need?
I tell you what, for me,
You go on, God.
I know me and you have spoke about this, Dennis, just about, I think, a wiser head in terms of mentoring us as young men. I don't think you can talk into what we was pioneering because it hadn't been done. So
Yeah.
there was nobody to talk to us.
No
'Cause
reference.
there was no pastor had seen it. No denomination had seen it. Nobody had seen it. We were trailblazing. So I don't think there was anybody there to speak to us in terms of how to manage and steward what it was. We were learning as we go along. We was learning as we was going along. I think there could have been maybe conversations around us as young men. I speak for myself. We're 18, 19, we're coming into relationships, we're finding partners, we're juggling that as well as juggling this explosion. So I think maybe that could have been spoken into. But I don't, for me personally,
I think just to double click, I got to give a super shout out to Tony and Sue Lloyd. Used to open up their house to us, and I remember the words were, I don't know what it is, but there's something you guys have got.
yeah, man.
And I those things warm my heart, that people who are willing to say, okay, we don't know what it is, but there's something there. And I just wish there were kind of mature pastors and seniors, because what you use the term trailblazing, and it was starting fires. I wish there were mature senior pastors who understood and recognized that and were able to say, I'm gonna put my arm and shoulder around you, and I'm going to show you what it is about ministry and how to support you and navigate for you this, or how to become from a kid to a king, and recognize that is sometimes in a king there's going to be a kid, and how to navigate that. The arm around the shoulder regarding about growing as men in that sense there, that was attention. But then the space to say, guys, you need a studio space. You guys need this. And I've got to give a shout out to Mark Wharton, who blessed me, because these guys to say, no, Dave, I'm going to invest in you, and I'm going to give you something because I see something in you, what you're doing. And from that person who invested his time, his talent, his treasure by giving me something, that has led not only for local, but for me to network globally from LA to Atlanta to New Jersey, and to produce others and to continue that way there. So I just thank for people like that who was able to recognize that. If I can have another point as well. Go on. Because we were young, we didn't necessarily understand certain particular things in terms of rudiments in church. And I wish people, we was able to have a dialogue between certain people who occupy certain spaces. So for instance, there were certain individuals that occupied, concerts.
Yeah.
And because they occupied the concert space, the tension was, I ain't going over there, so because these mans, they don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to take away from that.
Yeah.
And what needed to happen was a sense of community. No, there's a space for that, and there's a
Yeah.
space for this.
There's a rivalry.
Yeah, there was on,
Yeah.
and sadly, Birmingham culture has that rivalry, in a sense that there's to this day, there's no one willing to say, "Yo, I love that what you're doing, keep going on," etc. There's a tension, but that comes from the not being called to. You're just doing it because you see it and you want to do it. Just put it bluntly, but yeah. So those are the things that I wish, because now I'm older, a granddad. I'm able to say I see a man doing a thing, and sometimes you can see, yeah, I know you're doing it because you just want the glitz and the glam, but hey, let me help you
Yeah.
in that way. Whereas before, why am I going to do you dance? That's not the way to go forward. But these are the things I've learned along the way.
Okay.
For me, to add to what Dennis's point is being open to change. You know, whether it's you're talking about the church, you're talking about any group, you're talking about when there's a culture shift of change, we all struggle. We all struggle with it. You know, to go answer your point about what were you saying? The music you just mentioned, drill.
Yeah, drill. Yeah.
It's when it came out, is a new sound.
Yeah. Simple.
People straight away rejected it.
Yeah.
As a hip hop fan, UK rap, I was kind of, it took me a while to get my head around that.
Yeah, of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Why? Because it's a new sound.
Yeah.
And we were a new sound.
Yeah, man.
So culturally, there's a culture shift and there's a change. And, I spoke not too long ago to a pastor about change and culture shifts. And he was talking about the barriers to that in the church. As the pastor wants to make these changes, but there's barriers to that. There's resistance. And as a community, and as humans, but especially we were talking about Birmingham, London is a lot more diverse.
Yeah.
A lot more open to change.
Yeah.
And when you look at the way music shifted back then, it was more accepting of a lot of the changes that were happening in music. Always has been. Birmingham was a little bit more rigid, a little bit more stagnant.
Yeah.
And I think we were met with some of those resistance, so those barriers. And I think that those mindsets of being open to change, recognizing something good, but let's control it. Right. And I think as Jamo rightfully said, we didn't have that guidance.
Yeah.
If anything, there was a lot of guidance from people outside that heard it and think, yo, and when they responded, it was very much, wow, this is amazing. We want to, we want to add to that. Do you know what I mean? But we were very sort of cautious about it not being the church.
100. And I think what I've when I speak to pioneers of urban gospel in the UK, as much as I hear 4 years of absolutely crazy stuff, man, opportunities and whatever, but there's a lot of energy spent, what I'm saying, and spiritual toll, as well as, you get your build up, you're doing your fasting or whatever and everything. There is a taxing, a toll, what I'm saying, that sometimes, that we walk away from doing gospel music. Even though, Robin, you said, listen, man, I'm going, even though I've seen you pop back enough times anyway, even though you've been bringing Hope Way, I've seen you at Swan, you know what I mean, you get the mic and you just touch people saying, way, you know what I mean, if there's a mic near you, Robin will jump on it no matter what, but there's a toll because you're almost fighting this, you know what I mean, you're fighting from both sides. You want to go out there, you're fighting, you're going to go into war, but you're fighting just to have the resources to get into war. It's like having an army, you want the guns, but the government won't give you the guns to go and win the battle. You know what I'm saying? And then you're having to make your own weapons, and every victory they wave at their back and go, oh yeah, carry on, but we're not going to send you any more weapons. You know what I mean? They want the victory parade, but without the resourcing. But would you say that there was a massive toll and the guys yourselves and the people around you, you talk about seeing your friends walk away from the faith because of frustration. Would you say their toll was there?
You know, I see it slightly different, you know.
Go on.
I mean, for me, the church not backing just didn't, it didn't phase me.
Mm.
And I think if you look through church history, you'll see the church always resists change. You
Like
can
that,
go back
yeah.
to the first superstar of gospel, Mahalia Jackson,
Go on.
the
Yeah.
first superstar of gospel music, first gospel black woman to be in a Hollywood film.
Mm.
She was told by her church leaders that you cannot sing gospel, you can only preach it.
Mm.
So for me, the church is always going to resist change, but
Okay.
the pioneer doesn't watch
Mm.
people and wait for people to catch up and to affirm. The pioneer pioneers, and they keep going, and they make the way for others to go and follow. So for me personally, the church thing really never bothered me. I never looked to the church to say, all right, then fund what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because God is my source. And if it's of God, he'll open up the way. And he did along the way, do you know what I mean? And I think you have to have that mindset when you're pioneering and birthing something new. Because if you look to the church can disappoint. And if you're looking for the church to cheer you on, sometimes it will stone you.
Yeah.
It will sing Hosanna, and then it will say crucify him.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me personally, my personal view was, you know what, I'm pioneering something new, and it was the new that gave me fuel to keep going. That was just me personally. I don't know how the other guys felt.
Okay.
I think mine is slightly kind of different in the sense of this because even Paul needed a Barnabas to create avenues and sent to Tarshish in that sense there, and he was revolutionary, etc., and recognized that actually you can stay in this field here and help and support in that way there. I think when I commune and I speak to some peers in the kind of gospel, which was similar trajectory for what we've done, especially down in London, they had ministers to help them and support them, and bearing in mind, especially when it comes to healing. One of my which I did mention my testimonies is I saw my mum fall down and collapse and die in front of me at 6 years old. Those were the beginning, the moments when God started to kind of obviously done something towards me, and that's what the catalyst, but ultimately led to my born again. But trauma doesn't leave. How do you navigate that as you're going as a team? And etc. And then bearing in mind in 1994, which says there's a lot of pages, my dad then left, who was the one who raised us, left to go to return to Jamaica. So I was 19 on my own, flat, navigating and building Shekinah, and all these things was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So people can go and say, no, you need people to say. As a matter of fact, I'll go a step further. If you read all the healings of the gospel, in the gospel, Jesus would often place them back in community. Are you healed? Go to the priest. Because if you had leprosy, you was ostracized from the community. Once you're healed, he sent them back. So everywhere you see within the gospel, look where Jesus pointed them back to the community, because the community is where you need healing. And it's in community, in the unison, you hear in Acts about coming together where there's power, because a place of agreement is a place of power. And I think if the church will recognize when there's what Casey alluded to earlier, when there's something new, not to ostracize, but let's have the community to rally around. Hey guys, that sound may not be my sound, but I recognize someone's there. That's the same calling that we had. Let's go support them. They're going to need guidance. Yeah. He might think that's his way of working. That's trauma talking. He needs help and support to navigate that way. Yeah. And these were the things what I think is key.
No, 100%. And we want to add a question, probably more poignant afterwards. So I want to go back to 96. You're coming down, Robin. You bringing hope is a call. I mean, there's no doubt this is an amazing calling that is, yeah. To your heart, Jama. Did you after that point? Because I know obviously we've seen the stuff. Obviously, Rico doing a lot of headline with the sound system in the late 90s, yeah, and so on. So that transition, when did you guys started to focus on your individual pathways? Was it that year? Was it year afterwards? Was that the time when you it was 96. 96. Okay.
96.
Okay, good.
I think for me, 96 when it came back
Mm.
was the moment I was starting to, for myself, in terms of getting prepared to get married, and
Okay,
those.
yeah.
So that took a lot of my time, and in my mind, I thought, at some stage I'll kind of get back into it, but and sadly, in 1999, we got hit with another trauma regarding God bless my brother, he sadly passed away abruptly, and then there was one of our family members who was the death of the murder of one of our family members. So I got hit with tragedy, and
Yeah,
for me back then it was like I had to focus on first year marriage was hit with trauma and difficulties. So there was a lot of challenges, but for the grace of God, I never lie to say about the church and the community, but for the grace of God, for the church, for brothers, for brother Rob, because I've been, with Rob, we he's a Bubba Dread, and I'm a hip hop man, but yet his love and passion for Christ, and he's always been a brother there, and Casey's there as well. I can always what's name, and I know me and Jams later on, etc. But these are the things that kind of help me navigate through those particular stages there. But yeah, so that was for me. That's when I went that direction, because it's got it in that way. Right?
So it's interesting. It is as much as it was a turn, and it's something that I analysed from my conversations, and might think that point was a point, but it's almost a case of when we get to this point at Manchester, I'm like, yo, there's something that was being put in place before that. You know what I'm saying? There's foundation. There's no way you could have such a worldwide influential with Shekinah movement ministries. Let's find out where this foundation come from. You know what I'm saying? And having spaces where you guys could meet, you could bump into Rico, you could straight away connect, understand that language and that lingo. He's coming from Cipher Sound, and you're there. People can say, "What you know about sound?" But you know about sound culture, and you can say, "Listen, guys." Instead of blocking him, which black people do. Oh, boy, it's this you. He said, "Listen, this will take us to the next level." That was almost the pre-interview for that next stage of Shekinah. And what I do want to emphasize to people, like I said, for Birmingham, for me, when it comes to urban music, it is Shekinah for me. And it's, yes, I know there's Alec involved, but I feel that name, Dennis was doing his stuff beforehand. People were doing their stuff, but I feel like that was the first organized, as Casey said, movement that there was. And I think, guys, I'll be honest with you, I'll be God has done what he's done. As a doer afterwards, after you guys, you know what I mean, and when I say my time, you're talking about days afterwards. And as I evolved and done my stuff, and my things came into the fore in the very late 90s and 2000s is when I kicked in. I'll be honest. I would love to have had been more closer to you guys, but I understand my culture would never really allow for me to be in you guys' spaces, and I think that frustrates me to this day because of my way I move in my circle. It just never entwined with you guys. I couldn't say, "Oh, I went to school with you guys." I couldn't say, "Oh, yeah, I was at Acapulco or whatever." Still, yeah, I couldn't connect.
Actually, bro.
Well,
Is that actually Robin, bro?
itself, it's nice, you know what I'm saying? Is it? I'm having to go and Google and say, what was that? Give it. Is there a YouTube video on it? But like,
Hunters Road, bro. Hunters Road.
and
Go on, what? Go on.
and for me, it's like, it's a shame for me. You know what I mean? That's just me being honest. I'm not saying begrudging, and I'm not badding up nobody. Everybody knows, what's going on and stuff. And
Well,
I
you know
see,
what, Roger?
yeah.
It's called, if
Yeah.
hindsight, they say, is a wonderful thing.
I know it is, man.
Yeah.
I know it is, bro. Yeah.
But what we have to understand, Christ says, it's impedient for me to go so that he will come. He's talking to the 12 disciples. He's laying out the vision of the gospel and he only gives key things: Jerusalem, Samaria, and the uttermost parts. He didn't give the detail of how that was all going to unfold.
Yeah.
He says, go to the upper room, go to that room and tarry and wait.
Wait, man.
Yeah. He didn't give much more detail. So listening, and I hear what you're saying, that's why as we're all now older,
Yeah.
so when the next Roger's coming up, you, as they said, you can be that show and say, yo, I'm not here to try and take your thing, and well, this is what you can learn, because you know what, blind can't lead blind. If just because you don't, I'm in your studio today, yeah, I don't understand half of this doing there. Sorry. In fact, may I see some health and safety in here?
I didn't want to say nothing, you know, but you guys good point there. You know what I mean?
But the point I'm making is, even when you were trying to tune up the mics here, you know, I'm trying to get, is that you,
Is it fantastic?
Hey, the sticker's still
Sorry.
there. Sticker's there.
exactly.
In the spirit, sorry.
Yeah, I can see.
The point is, that's why now, 30 plus years on, you can look back and what was birthed, what was brought forth, you can now look back and say, okay, then what would you do differently? We can now say that we analyze it.
Yeah.
And that's part of this. We don't know how the gospel's going to reach the uttermost parts. We're still in that era. We're still in that time. And whatever role each and every one of us has to play in that, we will play in that. Because that's what, if you ask me personally, my passion back then is the same passion now.
Amen.
Yeah.
The only thing is me a little bit wiser. And you know, I forgot lick down nobody straight away. Probably just give them a one slap and off them and talk them and then some over. You know,
Don't hold them too tight. Don't mention it.
Don't mention it. Don't say you don't allow me one.
and the thing in that is this. When I look back at the journey back from Manchester, when we say things are birthed, the test is it still, are you still on that path that God's asked you to do? Where are we then to where are we now? And like I said, until you go through that, I know as an individual, people say, oh yes, I seen the crocker voice and that. But me know in my art of arts that am I still on that trajectory? Have I still got the same hunger then now? Because the foundation is seek the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. If you weren't focused on what God's put in you, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now. You didn't know that you'd have to go through, and it's only now paths are crossed. It wasn't meant to be then. It's meant for now.
If I could just double click on that point, I think sometimes we could look back and think, oh, I wish. But big doors hang on small hinges, and it's those rudiments that you weren't part of is one of the reasons you're able to document now. It's that curiosity that's led to now into this space that you've carved here, that you're able to record. And who knows, gospel, like when when we're all in heaven, there'll be the generation that watch this and say, oh, that's what happened to me. So this is what I need to do. This is what I need to learn. I need to be prepared for change. These are the things that we'll be able to, and it's because
we didn't have that.
Because we didn't have that.
What we had was I don't get this, so it must be the devil. I don't get this because think about those who were like Jams, I'm focused. I'm inside out.
Mm.
My focus has always been in the highways and the byways.
man.
And when you learn to live in the wilderness and eat them food in the wilderness and know if you cook and survive. John the Baptist is my hero.
Yeah, yeah,
Him learn how to live. So when John come in at the city, oi, fire.
Mm.
So that's what happened. People, how did the BBC find? How did this guy from High Wycombe find? How? And there was no internet. No, I was listening to what you guys said. I said, boy, it's true,
Well,
you know.
it's
So
amazing. Yeah.
God has now allowed this
Mm.
to be recorded. You have a responsibility. We all have a responsibility now is to make sure that the truth that we have shared is, as you says, archived, but it's there for those who need to like my parents used to
Yeah, yeah.
pick sense
Yeah.
out of nonsense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that whoever the mantle
Hands over.
and the
yeah.
call to reach this generation, then they can learn what they need to learn so that they don't, not so much mistakes, but have an understanding and a discernment to say, yeah. So I don't have to, is this a good make? Oh, that's what I got in the office. I didn't know that. So the point being, now it's there. From here, my heart in sharing is whoever
Yeah.
can take from this and move forward, but know your calling. Know the lane that God's calling you to. Try and understand it too. Fellow leaders and ministers may watch this. How are we equipping so that people can identify quicker what God's call is on their life so they can go forth and do what they need to do? Because the mission is still on. It's still required today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So,
No, most
most
definitely. And listen, you know, people who's listening in, when you got a pastor in the room, you know, when you're going, he's always got to answer. He comes straight from the word, and
don't come into this thing. Don't come. Let me tell it straight. No, you draw out the assassin. No.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Now go away, you know.
Don't touch music and who was music create and described as? Why is it so powerful then and now? Be careful. Don't play with this. That's why Dennis says, you know what? We don't want to make no mistake. It wasn't fear God's God. It was an awesome love and that God's taken me from this and now He's giving us a responsibility.
Yes.
Don't play
Responsibility
with
is the word.
this ain't no entertainment. This ain't entertainment. Oh, me now look, all them say, this ain't entertainment. If your mission, it's your mission, and music is the vehicle. Take it with heart and passion, and know that it's the Shekinah glory of God is all that God is, and all that God has. I give to you. I give you my glory. John 17. Jesus' prayer for the generations to come of his disciples. All of God's glory I'm going to give to you. So it's a big responsibility. Don't take it lightly. This ain't some entertainment to make some bucks. Go work.
Yeah, man.
If when it's your call, it's your call. Whether what we not talked about. How many of us went hungry belly?
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah.
Him teach me Dutch pot. My mother give him my Dutch pot. Was supposed to come to me and give it to Dennis because Dennis by himself. And so he can cook and look after him. So we've got to know this. This ain't some little thing you just pick up and put down when you feel like it. And if you've gone off key, why? Why you gone off key?
Wow.
Stay on point. if you're saying you're a soldier of this thing, because the war ain't done, the war's just starting.
Yeah, man.
So don't play with God, because God's looking, where are my vessels that I can? And he's saying, well, all right then, guys, you start. You pioneer. I work for you to pioneer something. What I start, I'll finish. Are we ready for the finish? Till he calls us home?
Wow. Yeah, man. Come on.
We're done.
Yeah. No.
don't know.
100%. No, 100%. And listen. Everybody
you,
who
Jesus.
listen. I think anybody who's listening, and it's a surreal moment because around me is the guys that I saw on stage, in '96. Yeah. It's 2026. Yeah, man. Wow, yo, man, I just it's
Porsche Club was 94, bro.
what's that? What's that?
Porsche Club.
Porsche, sorry,
94.
Porsche. That's
So what
Manchester.
year is that?
Sorry, 94. The 20. That's 32 years.
32.
32 years. So 32 years ago. Yeah, 32 years ago. Yeah, 32 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Half your life. Wow.
Yeah. That's that. Yo, I was 18. Yeah, and these guys were on stage and messed up my head. Yeah, and like not messed up, inspired me. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Even though it messed up my head, but anyway, inspired me. Got confused. I'll never forget. I was right at the front at Porsche Club because the dance floor Christians they don't like dancing in it. No about the dancing thing. So it took a while. But when you guys came on stage, you got everybody to go forward, and we went forward, and then I saw the beats. I saw the guys on the stage. I was like, huh? Yo, crazy. And I'm honored to be in a space of Shekinah. I would say 100%, as Casey says, the movement. Where it starts off a movement, we see Shekinah Ministries now doing its thing, and this is the space. This is the story of the genesis of Shekinah, what you see today. I changed names and not names. Second, what do you call it? The almost
It's just
chapters, different chapters. Yeah, chapters, man. It changed chapters in terms of implementing, and it's
respect and love. man.
and Shekinah has impacted the world. Full stop, guys. I just want you guys to know that you've impacted. As much as you start things off, the Shekinah is known around the world. I went to New York. I'm talking to artists from the Caribbean. Of course, we know Shekinah. You know what I mean? Shekinah, legendary, original.
The Lord Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. What are you talking about? No, yeah. You see. Yeah, shows I go to anyway. But anyway, you see. But listen, guys, I appreciate you, and everything comes in good time.
30 years, you know. Sorry. 30 years we have not told it. This is the first time we've told our story in 30 years. This is the first time us four have got together.
Wow.
And you have got the physically
Yeah.
got the
Wow.
exclusive and told this story.
Cool.
And it's been 30 years.
32 years.
No, it was 1996 the chapter he changed over.
Yeah.
5 it's 96. So it's 30 years.
So that's why he emphasized
No,
2026.
Yeah. So it's 30 years.
30 years.
And
Yeah.
this is the first time we've come together in the flesh.
Yeah.
And you get the exclusive.
Exclusive. You say, James, made me smile. I'm starting blushing now. So this is probably being so red skin in it, case. Yeah. You can almost agree. But anyway, but I do, guys, I do appreciate it. I know. I'm just honored, guys. I'm absolutely honored.
Thank you for your tenacity.
No.
You were trying for a minute.
No. Because, guys, I have to say, listen, I'm on this thing. I'm on people. I want to honor. It's just not about me exclusive. It's about honoring people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not into this poor. I know we don't poor one, but you know what I mean? Just say poor woman, dash the thing. Robin said he was a great guy. I want to say you inspired me. You guys did great work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has things to say about us, but listen, I can say no blagging. They did a great work. And what I did, I didn't have to go on road to understand the sound. I didn't have to go and have the scars of road because of what you guys started. And you know what I mean? So I appreciate you guys. But listen,
Salute, man.
Thank you very much.
love,
Blessings.
respect, man. Bless, man.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please, 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 please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.